I always like to start off by asking you guys if you want to share your placements in the comments below. I'm just going to plug in my phone here to make sure that doesn't die on us. But if you want to share your placements, your big three in human design, astrology, if you want to share both of those placements, and if you guys have any questions in the interim or in between the readings that I'm doing this evening, please feel free to drop them in the chat below. I always say that I'm here to talk with you guys, not at you guys. So feel free to do that. Hi, Jerrica. Nice to see you again. I have a chart in front of me for the person that I was reading for today. I also see that it says that a couple comments got blocked. It just let me said that they were filtered. So I'm not ignoring you. It won't let them through for whatever reason. So hello, if you said something nice and kind. Let me actually bring up the energy for tomorrow. I did this because I was on YouTube last night. I cannot believe that it's Friday tomorrow. That's actually kind of insane. But for some late housekeeping, while I'm bringing up the chart of the day tomorrow, if anybody wants to book a reading, it's $12 for 10 minutes at the link in my bio. So if you would like me to pay some undivided attention and to pour into you to help you strategize with anything, please feel free to do that. I'm going to pull up the chart for noon tomorrow, 12 noon tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time, because I am an East Coast girly. I don't know if anyone else is from the East Coast here, but you'll see that. So yeah, your top 4. Oh, I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Capricorn Sun, Virgo Moon, my other beautiful Virgo Moon and Libra Rising, and Aries Descendant. I love that you included your Descendant as well. That's so fun to look at that. And also like interesting kind of transits that you've been going through recently. Especially after the notes has shifted, but then you also now have Neptune on your Descendant, which is whole sign, is going to be your 7th house. So like kind of this, like, what about your relationships feels like it's a little bit watery, and that can be a good thing. That doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, right? It's like, where do things feel a little bit like, I just want to kind of enjoy and have the summer to just be kind of lost in love and lost in relationships, right? Like that can also be a really good place to be. So I don't necessarily dislike that when Neptune is in our 7th house. It depends on how we act in our relationships in general outside of those transits, right? Can definitely shift and make some changes there. Definitely some good. It's like, I say this because one of my favorite mentors that I've read, I'll say that. Oh my God. Yeah. I'll answer that in a second. What was I going to say? You got me on another train of thought. But yeah, Neptune, I don't dislike it. Oh, but astrology, and I added the ad lib, and human design is about probability, not certainty. So all of the charts that I read for anybody, this information works if you do. So that's the biggest thing to remember for anybody. I'm going to pin that comment. So do you think hi Amanda, do you think Beyonce's birth chart is accurate? Her mother confirmed 9:07 p.m. today, but I'm not buying it. I feel the same way that you do, because I think that there's a lot of visual recorded evidence. She's great and talented, but why are we thanking her off on every single award show for people that have no real reason? You know, there's definitely some sort of hierarchy going on there, is what I'll say. In my semi-cryptic protected answer to that question. So I think that anyone who's a player in that game, thank you, Amanda, knows and tries to actively throw off the scent of being, of alerting anybody that they don't necessarily want to alert. Right now, Beyonce is somebody that's in the public eye. Hello, I am Bagel the Lover. I love that. Hi, Bagel. Yeah, I know what you mean. And yes, indeed. Yeah, I think that Beyonce's crew and people that are in big positions of power, it's like very wealthy men that when they get divorced, or just people in general, but very wealthy people, they don't want to, they say that they're going to be really nice in the divorce, and then they don't want to lose their money when it comes down to actually going through the accounting process of dividing their money. Hi, Neutrino. And so I think that it kind of could have been like a red herring that was thrown out there of like, yeah, here's her birth time. Like, sure, this is it. Hi, Jesse, welcome. Here's her birth time. Go have at it, right? Because somebody who's in that position of power, I don't think would make their birth information that's that in tune at a spiritual level to say it in so many words is going to throw out their birth time out there willy-nilly. Now, it's interesting because it was her mom, but I think that her mom isn't an inactive participant in her life at all. So, yeah, I think that's a really, I'm glad you prompted that question. You have really good questions, Hurricane. What type of questions can we ask when getting a reading? Any questions you want. So whatever you kind of feel is like on your heart, if it comes to, career and love are the two big things that people ask. Money, if you want to look at your Mars sign, if you're feeling lost and you're like, I don't know, I just need help. If you want to talk about your spiritual gifts, anything, how to gain more confidence, how to get more motivated, how to market yourself. The world is your oyster. So yeah, I knew my intuition was right. Exactly. It's like not questioning it. I think more so it's just from the validation of being like, okay, I know that I know this thing to be true as Hurricane. Let me look to the left and to the right of me and be like, are you guys like seeing this too? Like, am I aware of this? Because I think that with so much that's happening and there's this shift that Rauru has always talked about for 2027, where we have an element of Chiron returning, so the wounded healer, and a couple other things that we're shifting into from a consciousness level. It's basically, if you look at it from a historical perspective, we have gone through so much of a tech up leveling that like there's a new shift where, for myself as a 94 baby, I remember what it was like to not have access to a computer and to not have a smartphone in my pocket. I didn't get my first cell phone until I was 13. You don't have to be American. No, it'll translate, like my website is in US dollars. I think it may charge you a little bit of an extra like fee if you don't pay in US dollars, but you don't have to be American. You can be wherever you are in the world. I like the diversity of it all. I just had a couple clients. I have people that tune in from Australia, who tune in from Norway, who tune in from Germany. So we get quite a diverse group, which I'm really thankful for. The Philippines, I've had someone from Singapore, Joanna, that was joining us last year, which is like the morning for them. And that side of the world is already tomorrow. So I always say hello from the future. But yeah. It may be. I don't know if it would translate to that. I think if anything, I end up paying the percentage of the difference. I don't think it charges you up front, but it's 12 US dollars. 4444. Hi Chelsea, how are you? Yes, I just saw that. That's so funny. Thank you. It's nice to see you. But yeah, I don't have any parameters that set in, but I think if my payment processor has some sort of like extra surcharge for like using a Canadian card, that's the only thing that I could think, but it would be like probably a dollar if I had to guess. Usually any of my like any processing fees on my card, they shouldn't give you too much of an issue. I keep it pretty straightforward for that reason. So it's not like, who is this random person that I'm sending Cash App money to? I don't fuck with Cash App in that way. I'll still take it if it's the only option. And if people are like, no, I want to do this right now and for whatever reason, but yeah. Hi Jade, how are you? Your gorgeous profile picture. Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, it's interesting though, the Beyonce question. I'll be thinking about that too. I'm like, what was the incentive or like what was the motivation to like share the official birth time out loud? And like why? Like what were the nervous inklings of like her mom sharing that information? Thank you so much. I appreciate you. It's so nice today. I have like my sliding door open. It's everything in my backyard is starting to finally turn and bloom, turn green and bloom. And like my neighbor was pulling in as I was coming inside. I was answering some comments on my last video that I just posted about Mars placements. And we were like, it's so funny how like just having the windows down and being able to feel the warmth is just such a nice sense of renewal. that mental energy shift, right? And it's interesting because it's also like, I think the psychosomatics of Mars for all of us leaving Cancer and entering Leo, where it's left a water sign that's like, we're hot and we're cold, we're yes or no, we're in, we're out, we're up, we're down. And then it's Leo is more like driven fire, fixed energy, stubborn, I know what I want, and now I'm not sleeping on myself anymore. So it's funny because in a lot of people that I work with, a couple of people that I worked with yesterday that are also in my Patreon, have started posting more actively and like basically like I'm not sleeping on myself anymore. I don't want to sleep on myself anymore. So we're all kind of in this like collective shift, especially as we leave Aries season into Taurus. Hello, Katy Perry song, yes. I always say that, although Katy Perry, I mean, there was some like leaked text messages that my fiance was telling me about that like from like Katy Perry to her mom, allegedly, that she was getting paid like $6 million to like do that space, whatever that was, that attempt at supposed attempt at inspiring the youth of America and women to do whatever they want to do. A waste of money, right? But yeah, it's so crazy. Like I remember Nikki was on on Station Head, and one of the Barbs asked her birth time and she said no. Yes, exactly. She's like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not Jasmine, I'm Aladdin. That's what just prompted to my head. Hi, Audra. Thank you. Yeah, it's like that. You don't know what people are going to do with it. And I will share aspects of my chart, but I'm like, I don't share all of it for the same reason, just because, especially because I have so much Scorpio. But like, you just never know. Like I like the people that are posting like their whole birth charts and like begging for free labor for people that are in astrology to like read their charts. Like I get it from like I might as well put, toss a coin into the fountain and see what sticks. But like, I feel like if you are somebody that is a private person, or if you just have had been on the unfortunate side of having people that are nice, nasty, or kind of like, I don't know, just people who don't have your best interest in mind looking at that, like it's just better to protect it. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, Jade, I love that. That's so sweet. Thank you. Oh yes. Okay. Yes, Audra and Jade. Aw, thank you. Okay. Yay, Bagel. There you go. Thank you so much. Let's see. I'm gonna put Bagel here so I know who you are. I'll do this for a second. Yeah. Oh, Mégane. Okay, I'm assuming you pronounce it. Can you write it phonetically for me so that I can pronounce it correctly? Is it like me or May? Like the month? We were just having this conversation also in my Patreon of like, name pronunciation and that being important. Oh, Mégane. Okay, Mégane. Okay. Hi, Noel. How are you? I sat at work today listening to my Human Design app audio. Oh, I love that. It's so good to like get you in the flow of it for sure. Okay. And Mégane, I have your birth time and your birth location, but I just need your birthday. So that way I make sure that I am reading the correct chart for you. Yeah, the auditory, that's why I started doing more YouTube. Thank you so much. The auditory learning and processing is so helpful. That's why with my YouTube videos, like a lot of people have been saying like they'll have them on in the background as they're like doing other things. So that way they are like processing it differently. And I make them a little longer for that reason too, to just kind of like help you guys digest the info, because I find it really helpful. Okay, so I am going to pour over into our bagel lover, Bagel the lover of the group. And so Mégane. So looking at your chart, right? Oh, Mégane. Thank you. I see I tricked myself. I appreciate that. My name's Brenna, so I also having a unique name. Yes, I figure French Canadian. With the accent gave you away. The accent gave you away. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So looking into the next 9 months of your career, as you were asking. So 9 months pretty much brings us to the end of the year, right? So what do we have in store for the next, the rest of 2025? So in human design, of course, what I look at is that I can give you clues and context clues as to what is good for you to align your energy with, so that you can manifest whatever you want in career to come to fruition. But what my belief is, and how I choose to use this information and work with it, right, is that this information works when you put intention behind it, right? And you're aware of what you're doing and why you're doing it. So a couple things that I look at right away, and you guys that have been with me for a while know that I talk about this, but it's also a helpful reminder, is automatically something that's going to be consistent in your personality is gate 5. So no matter what the transits are doing, gate 5 is always going to be a really important grounding element for you, in that every season of your life, so we have winter, obviously, then spring, summer, and fall. Through that flow, through the rest of the season, you're going to have some certain themes of your life or things that you're more excited and energized by. And I won't forget to say that this, I download these recordings and I do put them onto my YouTube channel. So we'll be about 15 minutes or so into the recording at this time, so you can listen to it again and again. So that way you have access to it. But with gate 5, looking at like, okay, I was acting one way for the winter, and the winter had some certain energy to it. You're welcome. Now for the spring, what am I feeling more inclined to do, right? So for me, it was focusing more on my YouTube channel in this season of my life, right? And I've been posting more. I wanted to do a gate series for you guys that have asked and requested that. And then posting some more videos on there. So I was like, you know what, that makes sense, like for this season of my life. And it's symbiotic. It's a goal that I have, a platform I also wanted to grow, but also helpful for my people. Now, come the fall and the winter time, that may change for me. And I say this because I also have this placement, so I not only know it on like a professional level, but what also works for us personally when we have this placement. So when you focus on what your main priority is in each season, and then navigate the rest of all of your other tasks or priorities around that energy, that's what's really important for you to focus on. Yeah, I know, tricky with French names. Yeah. So following that, right? So that's where you can feel like an active participant of your life. I think there's a lot of people that are getting nervous, especially those of you who are coming up on your Saturn return in Aries, yourself included, right? Or in Taurus, actually, for you, you'll be, cause you're towards the end, I should say. I was looking at your, another placement in Aries that you have in your chart, but, really focusing on what do I want to get disciplined about for each season of my life. Now, for career, right, when you're focusing on career, is it like, it depends on what you're looking for. So if you're looking to, it's career in general, but you're looking to get a new job, right? Yes, I love that, Noel. Yes, that makes me happy. If you're looking to get a new job, then your priority would be applications, right? In 3 years, but my Saturn is coming, in my first house. Okay, there you go. So you're in Aries rising. Assuming you're using whole sign versus Placidus. So yeah, that's a really great, it's a great, transit to have. I know people are a lot fearful and afraid of their Saturn returns. But if you lean into it and are like, okay, I'm willing to do what I have to do, that's also helpful, especially being an Aquarius moon. Okay. I love that. Because I can easily remember where all of the houses are in your chart too. So Aries risings I have locked because it's like Aries is always embodiment of like first house energy, Pisces being your 12th, so on and so forth. But yeah, so that's helpful. And you'll feel like, okay, if in career, right, there's probably going to be some emphasis on wanting more recognition, right? Having that kind of balance. If you don't have gate 5, there's nothing wrong with that. There's other places we would look at for organization. Hey, Josh. So focusing on, Mars is in the 12th. Okay, yeah, I'm glad you said that. Yeah, that makes sense because you have a Pisces Mars, I can see here. Anything on the right-hand side of your human design body graph is going to be reflected in your natal chart. So if I see 55 is always a number for Pisces. Sometimes it's Aries, but Pisces, generally speaking, this is where we're going to see you leaning into that, or I know where it sits in your chart. So all that to say, right, when we're thinking about Pisces being in your 12th house and then Mars being in your 12th house. I always say that, like, and I just said this to somebody in my video that I posted for you guys, that like you do need to do like about an hour of like maladaptive daydreaming or like being Delulu to manifest whatever you want. And it's like in that kind of like trance like state, working with your Mars 12th house energy. Oh, Hurricane 2, there you go. No wonder you're so like lyrical. And notice how both of you don't have a picture of your face as your profile picture. That's not to be lost on any of us. I'll say that. So it's like that kind of like hiding in the shadows, or only wanting to be seen when you want to be seen, right? Like I'm not going to be perceived as who I am. Like people kind of see this avatar version of me, and I show them only what I want them to see. It's like crafting this image, right? Where it's like, say what you want about Beyonce's mom not giving her like the right birth time, right? Or allegedly giving the right birth time. But you can probably understand that. I can understand that too, right? And being cautious there. So definitely for you guys, for both of you, like sharing that kind of, that placement, it's really, 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 important. Now for certain things, right? You're not going to see things through to the societally acceptable ending of them. So paying attention to that is really important. So even my username, however, I have my North Node in Leo, so it's kind of hard. Yes. But I love performing. But see how it's performing where you do best when you can choose kind of like an alter ego, because even when it's you that's performing, and thinking of this as it applies to career, if you're in a creative pursuit, but even when you're playing like the game of life and you are this avatar that's acting in a certain way, like if you could embody through that maladaptive daydreaming, like what you were to show up as this powerful persona for what you want out of career, like that Delulu really does become true for you. Like that delusion isn't lost on any Pisces placements. I have 3 planets in Pisces, including my sun, so I know this to be true. So following that is also really important. Because you're gonna get recognition with the North Node in Leo, or any Leo placements, or like it's your destiny, if you will, or it's your life path to become known in some way. Exactly, like, but you have your persona on lock for how you want people to perceive you in career. So that's like how people will say like there's that TikTok trend that's going around that's like, I'm bored, tell me an unhinged thing that you did when you started a new job. And one of the comments will be like, I start every new job with all 4 of my grandparents as alive, because then I can take days off whenever I want, right? It's like, it's that kind of energy. Leo energy is like, you guys are very creative. Next to Pisces, you're one of the most creative signs of the zodiac. People really underestimate that about you with Leo placements, not just Leo suns, but even Leo North Node. Also this channel here that incorporates your moon, and that gate 33, what's your Leo? Yeah, having influence in some way. Having influence, but where you're like, here, I'm going to show you and inspire you, but I don't want to be your legs for you in the relationship. Also really important when it comes to career. So paying attention to that. Not feeling like you have to scatter yourself or spread yourself too thin to prove your worth is also really important for your placements. So knowing that like when you enter into a job, it's okay. Like if it's something that you know that you do, and it's not like, say you're in a corporate setting, but really you want to be an actress, like save some of the energy from that 9-to-5 job, like so that you can still do auditions and things on nights and weekends when you're like studying your lines, and then go through 2 auditions every Saturday and Sunday, where like that company can think that like what your 50% is, they think is actually your 100%, and they're okay with that. Being okay with not having to be perfect at your 9-to-5 job if your dream is with something else more creative in life is also really important. I will say that globally, now is a good time to like, there's a lot of hopelessness that's felt in the world. Yeah, it's exactly. Listen, I've been there when I was in my early 20s, and I actually left, when I was 24. I'm 31 now. And this is my full-time gig, but throughout my 20s, like I took a bunch of odd jobs, especially for, you're a generator, I'm a manifesting generator. So focusing on like, okay, baby steps to integrate and compartmentalize, hi Riley, is very important. So how can I create flow and structure to make sure that like I'm okay with them thinking that like some of my days I just don't have to be that great. I just have to do what's on my job description. I don't have to go above and beyond for anything, right? So like that's important energetics to like pay attention to. And that can be really hard when you're like, your Leo and your Aquarius doesn't love that. Yeah, hello. Even though I have Cap Sun, Cap MC, Cap Mercury, people expecting me to say, yes, exactly. So it's like, but you are hardworking and you are doing that, but you're not just doing it in a way that is beneficial for them. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? So it's like you want to be healthily obsessed about the things that you want to be disciplined about, especially with the Gate 54. You are not somebody who's going to quit your corporate job if you don't have a way that you know to make money. You're too much of a realist and you're too aware in a good way. I also have Gate 54. I'm just not a Capricorn sun, but this is literally your sun sign, where like you're not going to be somebody that like that quits before you're ahead, right? So it's like knowing that, where you're like, yeah, it sounds great to be like, let me manifest anything that I want. But I'm the exact same way, where I'm like, you can do that, but like, I'm not going to tell you like, write this, 3 times and 6 times and 9 times in your journal and you don't get off your ass to film content. Like, that's not how this works. So yeah, exactly, Ellington. Exactly. So like really paying attention to that flow for you, like what that process is to have one foot on the gas and the brakes for your 9 to 5 versus like what you would rather be doing is also important. So I think especially when you're like being the age that you are and some of the things that are happening this year, focusing on like 24, 25, and 26 before you hit your, oh Gwen, I love that. Welcome, I'm Manjen too. Your nodal return. That is more impactful. To me, it was more impactful. I kind of got my shit rocked more during 27 to 28 than in my Saturn return, right? And I'm ending my Saturn return. I'm a Saturn in Pisces. I'm 31. I'm an 84 baby, right? So it's like, just to speak from personal experience, where I was like, oh, I should listen a little bit earlier, right? Like, yeah, I got my shit rocked, but it wasn't like the worst thing, right, in the world. It was like, oh, I need to recalibrate. Got it. I'm listening, learning the lesson. We're going to apply that here. But yeah, shaved my head last week and I was wondering if any of the transits explained, because it did unexpectedly. I mean, we did have a shift. Mars was on your MC. So if you were like, I just need to refresh, important to pay attention to that. Or your North Node, excuse me. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Bliss, it's nice to see you. Obviously, I was thinking of you today. It was nice to connect with you again. Hello, thank you so much. But yeah, I think because also it's like in that direction of, where are we going? Why are we going this way? Like, what's happening? Sixth house energy is like, I need to change my routine. I need to change my process. Like, I need to change the way that I look. Not even from like, you would associate that more so with the first house, but like sixth house is like, once it's unhinged and you have anything that's aspecting or transiting your sixth house, it's like, okay, something needs to happen here. I need movement. I need movement to feel more alive like myself. The biggest thing that I can say, hello, it's nice to see you again. Is that remember that like anything that you do is actually supposed to be enjoyable. And the world has conditioned us to like make believe that everything, hey social, has to be so hard and like terrible in order to justify the joy that we have. It's like work really hard for 5 days a week and, barely see our family so that we can enjoy 2 days off, right? Or like our nights we have off, right? And then those 2 days you spend like doing laundry and stuff. And so not to say that there aren't elements of that still can be enjoyable, but like focusing on the ways that you can feel like you do have more of a say in your life if you are definitely, especially with your placements, struggle to see success one day. Exactly. Like we have to incorporate those moments of joy now. Even for myself, right, as a Gate 5 person and who actively works on my career as basically a one-woman show, right? I do have assistance a little bit in terms of some web help and some video editing for YouTube, not for TikTok. I still do all of this stuff myself, right? But for me, I was like, okay, I could either stay at my computer even longer until my eyes are burning and finish editing this video to completion before I send it for final touches to my editor, or I can go outside and enjoy for 15, 20 minutes, like eating outside, like eating a protein bar outside, hydrating myself, and just like enjoying the last, licks of sunlight before it gets dark out. And even though I could say, well, I'm just going to keep pushing myself, also being having a lot of Saturn, right, for yourself too, I can push myself because I'm going to push the joy. I'm delaying the joy, I'm delaying the gratification, or I can be happy that I have come as far as I have at this moment, even though I still have lots of things that I want to do and accomplish. I can spend 15 minutes appreciating what's happening, right? Ooh, I'm glad you asked that. Yes, so your incarnation cross, I mean, I love this. You may have found me from this. I think your left angle cross your right angle cross because you're a 4-6 profile. Right angle cross of penetration. This is an X marks the spot intersection of 4 gate placements in your human design body graph that shares the same, they all share the same modality as your sun sign. So cardinal signs, if you were to create what's called like a grand cross in astrology, that's where we get like 90-degree angles, so to speak, or all of the cardinal signs aspecting each other in your human design body graph. Hi, Michaela. Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. So basically what we look at is the way that you shine that gate 54, we ground that with your earth placement. Now, something that I'm going to do to kind of ground you, and then you're also going to have this on recording. So remember that that's going to be over on YouTube in my TikTok live folder. I'll read this to you. And Book of Destinies is a great starter book. I like to use it on lives. I don't rely on it in my like longer readings because we go a little bit deeper than the book even does, but I like to read it to you for the sake of time here. Oh, let me make sure. I may be yapping over somebody. Am I yapping over somebody? Okay, I'm not yapping over somebody. So yeah, there we go. Also, I will tell you, right angle cross of penetration 4. The number is really important and people sleep on that. So thank you so much. Oh, I didn't see. There you go. Oh, there you go. Yes, the link is in my bio, Dana. Sorry, I didn't see. I am. I just started like a half hour ago, so welcome. Nicolas Cage, Katie Couric, Stephen Hawking are all 3 people. Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, Jeremy Rayner, Mahansa Yogananda. I think yogic practitioner, potentially. If my memory serves me correctly, I'll have the same life purpose and incarnation cross. I know a lot about reflectors, a life lover. I'm just finishing up a reading and then I can answer that question. I call myself the reflector collector here, thanks to my crew, because I collect so many of reflectors, potentially you as well. So all that to say, for Mégane here, your life theme is to penetrate life on many levels. Wherever you go and whomever you meet, you always become engaged, reaching through your intuitive senses right into people's lives swiftly and without effort. If you pay attention, you can gauge others' motivations, ambitions, and fears, often instantly understanding how much about someone's life situation. Without knowing how, you can shock others into awareness of their life circumstances, opening up the possibility for them to make substantial adjustments in their lives. Potentially deeply intuitive, you don't always appreciate the effects of your penetrating abilities and how they have influence on others, nor that others do not necessarily have the same perceptions you do. When engaging with people, be clear that you come from a place of integrity rather than a place of manipulation, and remember to always access another's life from a foundation of love. Unnecessarily taking advantage of someone will eventually have repercussions for you and them, but instigating mutual growth and benefit will enhance your lives greatly. You have an inner drive to move ahead in life, whatever it takes you, in life, whatever it takes, and you are propelled into many environments where you get the attention of people who can further your aims. You have motivation to advance, whether materially, spiritually, or both. Wherever you are friend working, networking, and making connections. Your social origins are not as important as how you currently present yourself to those who might help you in advance. Sometimes you befriend people briefly before moving on to other associations that will take you further in your objectives. In your drive to get involved and get ahead, make sure you pay attention to your energy type, strategy, and authority, which will guide you towards what is deeply meaningful and to the people who will make essential and lasting associations throughout your lifetime. Now, what's really important to remember with this is that you probably feel right now with where you are at in life that you are more so on the receiving end of people who are in transactional relationships with you. As you grow, you learn that it is okay to have transactional relationships, right? Like I scratch you back, you scratch mine, if people are aware of it. right? So because of your placements, you have that magnetism, especially with that Leo North node, where people are going to try to ride on your coattails, right? I don't have a problem with people wanting to associate with me for their gain as long as it is mutually beneficial. I have a problem, especially with your placements too. No one should be coming in here, binging whatever it is that you have to share for content and then writing it off as if it's their own, right? So I'm strict on, I don't celebrate people who have actively done that, right? And for whatever you do, whatever your craft is, it should be the same for you too. What's helpful is that you do have an Aquarius moon, right? So it's like those boundaries of like detachment are also going to be really important. I say that because as you become more known, with however and with whomever you want to become known for or who you want to be associated with, that discipline, also your Capricorn Mercury saving you as well. Hi, Root Healing. That's Megan, everybody. Megan, our manifester, who is Megan Heals. Michaela, a few of you know each other, but I don't know if you know since Megan had changed her username. But yeah, so paying attention to that is important. I just say that to be preemptive of it. I think you're going to start to notice it come your nodal return or nodal opposition and the things that kind of happen there, especially before your Saturn return. So paying attention to that. What else did I want to say? Yeah, focusing on one thing at a time, also going to be important. Don't fight battles that are just wasting your energy. So Chiraka Fashion, yeah, absolutely. Hey, Dee Marie, how are you? Welcome. I'm a little freaked out because our charts are identical. I just came in. We manifested you. Yes. Nodal return, hold on. When will... I want to look at the specific dates for you. For 2,000 babies. I'm being lazy and I'm not bringing up the ephemeris. Hold on. It'll be essentially when you're 27 to 28. I just wanted to make sure that I wanted to try to get a specific date for you, but 27 to 28 is when you hit your nodal opposition. So, North node being in Aquarius, South node being in Leo, and that switch there. So I just wanted you to be preemptive. And I speak from experience. So yeah, exactly. Right on time, right? You're really tapped in to huge lesson. Aw, I'm glad. I'm so glad. It's like my psychic gifts for my people. And also like coming from a place of like being an Aquarius rising, I'm like, I don't want you to like, if I learned a lesson a hard way, I want you to be able to learn it the easier way than I did, but just to be aware of it. Not to like outsmart the lesson for you, but like, so like when you feel those rumblings, you don't feel like you got hit by a bus. that being really important. So nodal opposition 27 to 28. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And I'm glad. So this is all recorded. So anytime you guys get a reading from me, on TikTok Live, I download the recording and I'm posting it over on YouTube now, just so you have a place to watch it, scroll back, pause. Yeah, so that'll be, I'll go back and I'll write the rough timestamp start, Mégane game for your reading. So thank you. I have to hear your name out loud. I should do the name pronunciation. Thank you. But I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Reflector 3-5, working on my shadows to turn them into gifts using gene keys. Yes. So all of the gates in human design walked so that gene keys could run. So you'll see the overlap there. But it's nice because especially when you're talking about shadow work, like in the gene keys book, where is it? I have it on my sewing desk behind me. You'll see the shadow essence of the gene keys. So it's like in human design, I can use Megan's chart as an example here. It's a detriment like astrology or an exalted placement. So like the city, the shadow, etc. So that's you'll find that that difference, I should say. So I like to always talk about that. Gene keys, I like that it adds the the biochemistry element of human design that's not talked about as much. However, it is where we tap into like the digestion and things like that. If you don't mind sharing, no pressure. For Mégane. Yeah, we have different, we have the same, sun, same moon, but different rising. Yeah. And that's just like based on time of birth. So, wow, my first time purchase reading ever. I'm almost scared of others, but your energy seemed fine. Thank you so much. No, I'm really, listen, like I am also like, I'm Scorpio moon. I have 5 placements in Scorpio. So I always like am as transparent as possible. And I appreciate that. Like, I think that I always say I keep my side of the street clean with my energy, where like I'm not just doing this for vanity metrics. So that means a lot to me that you trusted me with that. I don't take that lightly because I'm also the same way. I'm like, what do you mean you want to tap in to see my ancestors? Like, what's the catch? What's the purpose? So I'm going to screenshot that. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Megan. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I also feel, 5 places Scorpio, no annoying Brenna. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I always say that, like, my Pisces is also kind of my saving grace, although it also can feel like that because I have 3 placements in Pisces and then the rest is basically in Aquarius. I have stelliums in all 3. And, it's like I'm nice until you're not. So like if people are like really demanding, like in the live too, I'm like, I will get to you, but like don't push it. Like there's rules, and like, you know, Mégane just had paid for a reading. I'm not going to answer 85 questions in between. So yeah. Oh, Dana, yay! Thank you so much. I appreciate you saying that. Sorry if I'm being a certified yapper over. Oh, okay, yes. So I see you booked for. It's currently 8:08 Eastern Standard Time. I see you booked for 8:50 Eastern Standard Time. Are you leaving and coming back? Because sometimes people do that. Or was it like a time zone thing that didn't translate? Because I can do your reading for you now. I have like a 3-minute buffer built in, so I can read for you now if you want me to. If that was an accident. I'll put your chart in anyway so that it's ready to go. But I'll let you answer that so that I'm not rushing you if you don't want to start. Oh, okay, perfect. All right, let me see. Maybe there's something wrong with my... Thank you for letting me know. Let's see. This. Okay. All right. It should be back up and running now. So anyone who wants to book starting at 8:20 Eastern, it's 8:09 Eastern right now. So that's back up and running. Sometimes there's just weird glitches. They've been updating a lot with my booking software too. So that can sometimes happen. Okay. Oh, I love this. Okay. I went to Fordham up in the Bronx, so I spent some time in Harlem. My dad had worked there. He worked in construction. He worked there for a while too. Okay, I love that. Yay, okay, perfect. Yes. Okay, I'll let you guys chat. So considering my open centers, gates, and channels, what would be the best approach to regaining my confidence in my independence after surrendering everything, right after burnout? Well, I love that you knew like your own bandwidth for what you could handle and what you were like, I just don't want to deal with this anymore. A couple things. So what I like to say whenever I see that somebody has this placement, I just have to acknowledge it, even if it doesn't if you didn't directly ask about this, because I just like to validate how you're feeling. And basically, like, you probably feel like you're a 4-year-old adult after your Saturn returns. Like, you're just learning, like, what you needed to do because you have the channel of community. So the way that you grew up and the people that raised you, you can't look to them as like guiding posts for how you want to live your life. Even if you knew, liked, and trusted your origin family, like they just don't have the resources to be able to provide answers to the life that you want to live, or what you know that is destined to be yours, right? Like what you want finding you, right? So that's really important to know. So having a moment where you're like, I just need to like let go and let God, so to speak, insert your vocabulary for whatever spiritual being that you appreciate or respect, universe, whatever, that's going to be really important for you. It's interesting because when we're looking at your open centers, you're probably like, well, I know that I'm a projector because I know this, right? Yeah, thank you for that. I love them, but they're cool. Yeah, exactly. My dad has that channel, so he always knew like where he was like, I love you, but I know that like this is my area of expertise, so like who's somebody else that can help you? Not everybody who has parents that have this placement or have this placement have that luxury, so I'm very appreciative of that and blessed because my dad was like that. So I just like to acknowledge that first. What does help you is that the ego center is a motor center. So when you have it defined and have access to that energy, it's what fuels you to give you a little bit of an extra oomph or boost more than the average projector. For projectors in general, we say that it's like the general rhetoric you'll hear is that projectors are only supposed to work for 4 hours a day. For me, what I have found in my reading over, I think I'm getting close to like reading 3,000 charts at this point, which is kind of incredible and insane. But again, I've been doing this for a while now, almost a decade, so it makes sense. Almost a little bit more than a chart a day, quite a bit more. But all that to say, people that have those aspects, definitely self-motivated for you too. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I was like, am I doing the math correctly? What did I want to say? Yeah, so having a little bit more energy, being a little bit more vocal than the average projector, and then being an emotional authority, not making decisions based on how other people feel. Hey, Jenny. But after you've processed how you felt about doing things. Yeah, letting go and let God, exactly. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting me and supporting you. Paying attention to that. Now, what's interesting is when it comes to gaining your confidence, I just touched on that a little bit when it comes to your emotional authority. Not letting anybody rush you and trying to not operate from a scarcity mindset is going to be really important at this juncture in your life, because waiting out your emotional authority and saying like, if this apartment is truly meant for me, it'll be there tomorrow after I sleep on the agreement that they sent for me to sign my lease. Because then when you read it over, you've read it once, you sleep on it, you process it, you may realize that they left out the fact that, maybe you, in the contract, it says, and you'll have to pay $500 for your parking spot for the year. But in the contract, or what the leasing agent and agreement had told you for the special they had, maybe the parking pass is free for a year, and you just saved yourself $500 because you allowed yourself to not rush your emotional wave, and you could, hey, Waterwind, and you could relax into it. So that's true for all emotional authorities. It applies for all of you guys to just at least 12 hours minimum before you sign anything, before you commit to any job, before you rush to say yes, right? You don't want to stress yourself out, and just give yourself a second to think about it. What you don't want to use this time to do, right? Yeah. Yeah. And that's where a lot of it is, because you have an undefined sacral center and you were born and raised in New York City. New York City is not the energy that's exactly conducive to giving people time, especially projectors time, to wait out their emotional wave, which is why my projectors that are there end up sick, depressed. I worked in arts and music management in New York City across the 5 boroughs. I did concerts in the Bronx and in Staten Island and low-income housing. Would provide meals, art, and music enrichment for low-income housing. So they had some kind of summer programming when the kids were out of school. And what was I going to say in relation to that? I forget where I was going. Oh, but the woman that owned the company, Kathleen, whose chart was up at the very beginning of this, I still talk to her once a week. And she's a projector in New York City. So that energy created bad habits to try to enmesh with an environment that isn't natural to your nature. However, in the times where you need extra energy to go and do and hustle, it's available to you. But it's important for you, especially because you have gate 5, to say, well, what are Dana's priorities? What does Dana need to do? What does Dana need to get done, and what's important for Dana? Not what's important for how fast Dana can say yes to other people, and other people finessing you and playing like it's under the guise of like them helping you by you helping them and saying yes. So paying attention to that. Yo, the South, okay. Yeah, but after I surrendered everything, I ended up back home. So now's a really good time to say, okay, I'm a projector that knows I want this as my North Star, right? And going back and ending up back home. So how am I going to make the most out of the energy and the environment? Because as projectors, environment is super important to you. So waiting, a little bit of time before you commit to yourself to something is important. I'm not going to beat a dead horse with that. And Josh, I will answer your question, but I can't just provide a simple answer because of who I am as a person. So I see you. I don't want you to think I was ignoring you, but I will answer that after beautiful Dana's reading here. So the first practical tip that I give you, and again, I don't know if you were here when I said this, but for some light housekeeping, your reading right now is recorded and it will go on YouTube Live, so you can listen to this again and again. We're about 40 minutes into the recording, and I'll make a rough timestamp for when we started your reading so that you can access it. That's all in the show notes. Gate 5. I said this earlier. Whenever you have this in your chart, I have this too. Before you go to sleep, you need to understand first and foremost, in this season of your life, meaning the spring, like literally the season, what's a priority for you? To your confidence, right, is a priority. What are 3 things that you can write down the night before that you're going to prioritize the next day? Okay, so you plan your next day the night before. What are 3 things that you can prioritize? I have 2 monitors here, so I'm looking at the other screen with your notes, to prioritize your confidence, right? One of the things that you can do, because you're working with your undefined sacral center when you do this, is saying like, I am going to think before I say yes or commit my energy to somebody or something that isn't aligned with what I truly want. It's okay for anything you do right now, especially as you're getting back on your feet, to be even more hyper vigilant about that, about what feels good for Dana. Because if you make decisions that are aligned with what feels good for you, and you aren't phoning in to saying yes to anybody else, paying attention to what other people want, need, and desire over what you want, and that feels good for you at this time of your life, you're going to start to pour out from an overflow versus feeling indebted to somebody and pouring from a deficit. Right now, you're in a season of your life where you may feel like if you are accepting more help from somebody because you surrendered everything, and maybe getting help from somebody, I don't know if you're living with family or like living at home means that like you're in your home. I just saw that you joined in again, Dana. Remember, this is recorded, so anything you missed will be there. But all that to say that your open center, when people say jump, your predisposition, your open root center specifically, is to say how high you've jumped, and then you're 30 minutes into a project, 30 days into a relationship, and you're like, wait, I didn't actually want to be here. But I didn't process this. I intuitively, open spleen, am afraid that if I say no to you, something bad will happen. So then, change your AirPod. Okay, perfect. Okay, Noel, yay, thank you. So that's where you want to see you prioritizing saying yes to yourself. Noel just booked for a minute from now, so I'll pivot over to her in a second. But the thing that I would encourage you to do, and it's a small thing that really is going to make you intentional about growing your confidence because of your open centers, is planning the 3 things, your top 3 things that you want to accomplish tomorrow that are going to make you feel good, make you feel confident in prioritizing yourself. You do not say yes or spend any energy with somebody else until those 3 things are prioritized. I do not answer other people's comments, questions. I don't make content, those kinds of things, until my 3 priorities have been completed for the day, right? Because I've been doing this for a while, I usually have a little bit more than that on my to-do list, but because I know I've worked with that for a while, that alone in and of itself is worth its weight in gold, because you're bringing attention to, at the end of the day, especially being a projector and having defined centers like you do, what it is that you want to prioritize. Your practice, because of your open centers, is just making sure that you don't let anybody else rush you to do something just because you feel indebted to them at this moment, right? The best thing that you can do is find a way to get yourself back on your feet, accepting help where it feels like it is being appreciated, there's less strings attached, you're enjoying that flow and give and take of energy, but you want to make sure it becomes more symbiotic, especially as we get closer to your 38 to 42 transition period, which is when we get into your incarnation cross territory. So for you, What is it here? You have the right angle cross of planning. If you look up that hashtag on TikTok here, hashtag right angle cross of planning, or in my incarnation cross folder, I think I have one video. I'm getting better at going back into the archives because when I started my incarnation cross series, I actually didn't have the ability to make playlists yet because I didn't have 10,000 followers. Now I do have, as of this year. I'm also going to make a note for you to make a longer video about the right angle cross of planning. Because I have somebody else that has this incarnation cross, and that'll be over on YouTube, and it'll be 20 minutes long instead of the cap that I get here on TikTok. So you can look out for that in the next couple weeks. So that's available too. I just didn't want to forget to make note of that. So yeah, you're welcome. Listen, I love to help my projectors. So anytime that I can give you something that's like you can repeat as kind of like a mantra, you guys are always ahead of the curve. I love to be able to provide that, especially to all of my non-sacrals. Josh, I still haven't forgotten about you. I'm just going to pivot over to beautiful Noel here. Dana, thank you so much. And I'm excited for you at this next juncture of your life because it's a really beautiful time to like, be like, okay, how is Dana going to put her own oxygen mask on first before I take care of other people? And that's not something you have to feel like you have to apologize for. That's important. Oh, you're so cute. I love Noel. Like, just, I won't show her full thing, but like just looking at like Noel's always uses such beautiful, like emojis and like just like cute flowery languaging for all the Leo in your chart. So let me bring up your chart and let me read. Yeah, everyone has gate 5 today. I know. I love it. Like, I love that because it just, there's so many tips I can give because of like, that was one of the gates that once I realized how to use it, because we both have it in our incarnation cross, Noel and I. 2 objects that are the same shape. Okay, hold on. Oops. Hold on. Okay, there we go. 3rd time was a charm with the little puzzles that it makes us do. So, without further ado, let me pour into Noel. And if no one books right after, Josh, I'll answer your question. That'll be helpful. So, hi, babe. Yeah, break up all the words. Exactly. Happy Taurus season. I've been feeling myself move into a glow up and energized season. Well, Mars being on your ascendant, 100%. Yes, Dana, I agree. I'm working my way through a gates and channel series right now on YouTube. And then cross posting about the gates in terms of their degrees on TikTok. So there's overlap in both. So if you want like a longer thing that you can save and look at the profile lines, that's on YouTube. And I talk about the degrees there as well, but I'm doing series on both. So now's the time. But yeah, so I don't want to forget to say that for housekeeping for all of you guys. But yeah, Mars being on your ascendant, so much sense where you're like, okay, I want to be seen. I want to be recognized. I want my aura to be known. Yeah. And literally what you said, that Mars return, I've been feeling my generator energy of blasting out of this little rebirth right now, generating lots. And I know Mars energy will be making a grand cross during the new moon. Yes. In Taurus with Lilith. This is what Mégane was actually asking me about too. And I already have a grand cross in my angles. I would love to know how this is activated in human design point of view. Also, so let me answer that first and then I'll go, or let me read, hold on. Yeah, strict meal clock, thinking raw foods, which is a little, okay. So I just wanted to read it first so I could process it, and then sharing it out loud. Sometimes I don't process fully if I don't read it first, and I have to read it out loud second. But the second part of it, okay, so we'll talk about the Grand Cross activated for you. Also eating rhythms and diet, also very gate 5. What's your digestion is, high digestion, that makes sense. Eating while we're hanging out here and talking. Piggybacking off of Mars first house energy, learning Chinese medicine has challenged my own intuitive relationship with my body rhythms, eating habits, and diet, going against a lot of what I feel and learned in Western medicine. Examples, meaning strict meal clock, thinking raw foods are no good for digestion in the system, which is as a little island baby, I love my raw fruits. Yes, for a long time, this created dissonance between my intuition and academic mind, and would love to see a human design perspective. Oh my God, I'm so wordy. Pero muchas gracias, amiga. Thank you much. Aw, you're so welcome. De nada. Oh yeah, thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate that. Shannon? Oh, Shaw on film? Shaw on film? I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Thank you, Shaw. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yay, Jerrica. Okay, perfect. I'm like 5 minutes behind, so bear with me. I just wanted to make sure that I read all aspects, and I appreciate that, you guys. So I see you here. We're just starting like 5 minutes after. So, te quiero mucho. Gracias. I appreciate that. So, okay. There are seasons of our life, especially because you're going through that Mars return where Mars is in your first house on your rising sign, Noel, that we're seeing an activation in changing the way that you show up in the world, right? So you know this already to be true, just affirming the validation and kind of creating a little bit of a succinct bullet pointed version of what you're saying. So again, as a gate 5 person, which is apparently going to be the theme of the evening, as a gate 5 person, this does also apply from also personal experience, and understanding my digestion design. Yes. The way that we eat for the seasons of the year is also changing. So during the winter months, like I am a breakfast person. Like I like to eat right away. I also find that my rhythm with the sunlight, like I eat later, like dinner later, I eat a bigger meal later when it comes to the spring and the summer. I actually was going to make a video on this, but I was kind of hesitant to, and I wasn't sure why, but I feel like it was probably just because I needed to reserve the memory of sharing this for this moment. And so right now, because I'm getting married, and planning a wedding, I am in like my fitness kind of era. So working out is a priority for me to work out every single day. Now, I know that I'm a hot foods person in human design. You are a high digestion, high sound person. So for you, timing may be good for you, but whatever feels intuitively good for timing. My first meal is at about 1:30, 2 o'clock every day. So I don't eat, like I in this season of my life, once it's spring and it's a little bit warmer, because I'm a hot foods digestion person, you being an island baby, right? Like having, like the warm weather being a part of something that's good for you, as well as raw fruits, like raw food, that works really good for you. Also, not bypassing like any kind of astrology or anything like that with your epigenetics is also really important. I'm like 57% Irish, and the rest is basically all other variations of white in that area of the world, Eastern European, little like Russian. And so root vegetables, omega-3 rich fish, like that's always something that's good for me. But because I'm a hot foods person, I always look at it through the lens of like, I like my food to be warmer. I also, if I'm cold, my brain literally freezes, right? So it's very similar for you. Yes, exactly. Las frutas, sí. Also being very important. Yeah. So I don't eat my first meal until 2 o'clock. I eat 2 meals a day. I don't eat 3, but my meals are higher. I need higher caloric volume. I also, because I know my body and my rhythms, if I have so much food noise at night where I've eaten earlier in the day and I am waiting and like, I don't eat at night before I go to bed, or like I'm not satiated before bed, that's when like the binging can happen. Or like, that's where I'm like, and not even like, I'm eating crazy, or like from a disordered eating perspective, but like it creates like an unhealthy dynamic. So as a gate 5 person, the reason I elaborate on that through personal perspective is because that gate 5 is really paying attention to the rhythms and the rituals that are good for you. What we know from your digestion in human design being high digestion is that just having music on, you're probably not going to eat something until you have a show on in front of you. You'll hear in certain elements of like spiritual circles that like you should never watch TV while you're eating, or if you don't pay attention to the food in front of you. That means that like something bad is gonna happen. Like for high sound people that like, yeah, exactly. Are they green grapes? Because I was also gonna eat some green grapes tonight. But yeah, so like for me, it's like I had like my last 20 grams of protein. Exactly. Before I hop on live, and then I like intermittent fast, and that's what works for me. I also find that like once I eat, even if I'm eating whole foods, it doesn't matter what I'm eating. Yes, exactly. It doesn't matter what I'm eating. I see that I have that. Oh, wait, here we go. I'm going to it blocked a lot of your guys' comments for whatever reason. So like 4 of them came through. But yeah, paying attention to the timing for you, what feels good for you as Noel, is really important to listen to your body, and knowing that every season it's probably going to change. Like I go, like when we're like, it's the summertime, like there are times where I'm not eating, until 7, 8 o'clock, not my first meal, but I'll have another larger meal versus like a protein bar later at night. And naturally, I tend to gravitate during the summer months towards like more just in-season produce. I'll have a big salad with a lot of rotisserie chicken and like kale. Things that I just naturally like to eat because like eating good food feels good. But like I also have like a cookie or a chocolate like every single day. And 3 o'clock, no matter what, I have a cup of coffee. Hi, Jules. How are you? So paying attention to that. I think just, you know, from an eating like dietary perspective, yeah, okay, absolutely. I'm glad to. And I think it was Jerrica, 3 minutes, and then I'm pivoting over. And then Josh again. I'm just running 5 minutes behind, so we're just 5 minutes behind schedule here. And then we should be caught up after Josh. So thank you guys for bearing with me. But yeah, I think like, especially with Chinese medicine, like a couple of things that I love is like, I always wear socks when my feet are cold. I literally have my slippers on right now as we're chatting. My feet need to be warm. That's Chinese medicine too. That helps regulate your cycle. So like your cycle as a woman or anyone who menstruates, like that's really important for your feet to stay warm. I also eat like for my sacral. So like I eat a lot of sweet potatoes and I always have. Hi Kylie. So paying attention to that, you may also find that helpful to eat like orange foods or yellow foods, things that want to help, that you connect a color association with that chakra or that energy center in human design can also be really beneficial. So just kind of like leaning into it. I feel like just playing, yeah, socks and slippers, exactly. Also gate 5, right? Not wanting to step on crumbs on the floor. That being important. In the last 3 minutes we have together, I want to touch on what you said about Mars energy will be making a grand cross now during the new moon in Taurus with Lilith, Mars, Pluto, the moon and sun, where I already have a grand cross in my angles. What I'm going to do is actually bring up I won't do it right now. I'll wait just for the sake of time. Because you're in Patreon. On Sunday, we're going to be meeting at 12 noon because you guys get the full and new moon circles as a part of your Patreon, your membership. For those of you who don't know, it's $22 a month. Noel is using her free 10-minute reading that comes as a part of your membership. You guys also get a full and new moon circle, one training, and then additional videos and bonus stuff that I give you in that, extra access to me. So I'm going to be covering more of that on Sunday. So that'll be helpful. Yeah, the energy is still activated because there's at least activity within that sign. Essentially, in short, thank you so much, Megan. It's that overflow of like just amplifying the fire and the firmness that's already there, because that grand cross is in the 4 fixed signs, right? So it's all stubborn. It's all, I'm going to go after what's mine. For you, it's activating that I'm going to go after what's mine because I don't want to stop being seen anymore, right? I want to be perceived. I want people to acknowledge me. The question that I'll pose to you at this moment, right? Exactly. Is that, do you feel right now that people are sleeping on you? And do you feel like that in general? Or if you are feeling like that, is it more online, in person? Because that'll change my answer depending on what has been happening. Like if you reflect on like how you're feeling in real life. Because I could see it going like either way, either like you're happy and you don't care, or like you're yeah. And then is it online or in person? Hi, Twadiki. Or both. That's also helpful. And then as you're answering that, I'm just going to bring up the next chart here for Jerrica so that I don't run over. Both, to be honest. Yeah, it's more, confrontational energy. Okay, yeah. I think that, so what I would say is that also what's happening, because there is so much fixed energy, is like Neptune in Aries is also going to be conjunct Saturn, is there's a lot of people that are walking around feeling like raw nerves right now. So what happens with that is there's people who are more like out and about, like looking to just like embarrass themselves really loudly. So for me, it's like whenever, like I get this more so on like YouTube shorts, like because the algorithm doesn't really know what to do with me just yet. So I'm slowly teaching it how to treat me. But with that being said, I know that like on that platform where there's like literal children, like on YouTube shorts, like that there's going to be people who just don't understand like what we're saying, right? Hold on. I haven't worked with the arcs, no. I don't know, but I feel like I'd be out there. Well, you're a Leo rising, like welcome to your world. Like it's like a celebrity. People are going to feel triggered by you because you're a luminary. So it's like you might as well give them a show, right? And it's like if I trigger you, I know that I trigger people all the time, but it's because like I know that I have a very strong personality. I have a lot of masculine traits in my energy. So like I call it like it is. If someone wants to come here and I'm just telling you how great you are, like that's not the type of reader that I am. So be a trigger, who cares? But know that if you being yourself is a trigger, then you're doing a good job. And I'm going to put a pin in that for right now because I know that I will see you and we can go a little deeper. I'll use your chart or I'll use some examples for you to kind of help you with that on Sunday when I see you guys for the new moon circle in Taurus. So some other things to think about. Again, this is recorded for YouTube Live, and I'm just going to pivot over into Jerrica here for the next 10 minutes of her time before I pivot into and over to Josh for our beautiful Gate 29 sun. So what's interesting, and you were saying, what should I actually be doing for a career, Jerrica? Hi. Obviously something happening with film with the little cue card. Yes, thank you, Noel. I love you and appreciate you. The first thing I want you to pay attention to, assuming you're some sort of creative person, maybe feeling intuitively like you're a little bit like things aren't moving as well as you want them to in that area, or people are maybe sleeping on you in that area, is to stop saying yes to people who you should be saying no to. Not letting other people in those areas take up your energy and your time that don't deserve to have it. Right? So like, listen, I worked in the creative industry and I'm literally going to see one of my artists on Saturday that I mentor, but now through a human design lens. That'll be over on my Instagram. You guys will see the fun aspects of that. It's not that what you're necessarily doing is wrong for you. Definitely a lot of elements of creativity in your design. It's just a matter of like probably some elements of you being trained, especially as a woman in the industry, to sleep on yourself. Yeah, it's a lot, right? Like managing all of that is a ton, and it does take a lot of energy and a little bit of sacrifice about what are priorities for you. It's like pulling back the arrow of like, what do you have to pull back to launch forward to make this happen? You have a 3-5 profile in human design, which is already really great when it comes to content creation. Even when you feel like you are at your lowest point and like sharing that online, people don't internalize that as negatively or intensely as you may feel, which is a really beautiful blessing. You're also a projector, so you have to remember that you are the talent, right? So getting people and showing up and not using the traditional rhetoric of like, subscribe, share, hustle, follow me, follow, train, teamwork. That doesn't work. You're already fucking cool. And people want to live vicariously through you, so give them a good show, right? Similar to what I said to Noel, I think there's probably a lot of you that can relate to what I just said right now. I just want to pivot to read to you something that I want you to think about, Jerrica, when it comes to your life purpose and life theme through the Book of Destiny. So your incarnation cross, and I'm making a video that's going out. It's actually in editing now. I'm going out on YouTube about the 1-8 channel. That'll be really important for you to watch, and you'll find it really validating. So to save that, to repeat that, I'll talk a little bit about it today, but I really want to focus on your incarnation cross because this is a little harder to understand, not having somebody read it to you if you're like looking at this on your own, but the channels are a little bit easier. So I'll put a pin in that for now. Coco Chanel, Vin Diesel, and Bill Clinton all have the same incarnation cross as you. So life theme and life purpose. I want you to think about your business, working your day job, the content you create, filtering that through this lens of filtering that through this lens of, hey, Magoo, of what you want to be doing or how you can refactor the players in your life, the things that you're doing on the day-to-day to run it through this funnel to make it more sustainable for you. First and foremost is that having that you're either a very early degree, very late degree, like 29 degree Leo sun, or like 0 degree Virgo sun, 1 degree. You're right on the cusp. Cusps exist in human design, although in astrology they don't really exist. You're either this or that, but when it comes to this, like you're literally right there in HD. Not saying yes to people you should be saying no to. Hey, Miranda, that no has to come just as quick as the yes does. So paying attention to that. All that to say, you have a life theme of transference, which with the means to convey concepts of potential interest to almost anyone. That means to say, what you find interesting, you want to share that with other people. Like, where are the links that you can get your your money back, right? For people who click on your links, your like to know it, your shop me, whatever you choose, things like that. The depth of your commitment to making a contribution that benefits humanity will either be tested or enhanced by your desires. Being aware of your desires opens you up to experiences that expand your senses, and it brings you into intimate contact with life as you transform the lives of others, regardless of whether you are aware of your effect. Being clear about what really moves you enhances your sense of security and allows you to convey into the world allows what you convey into the world to flow through you unimpeded. I don't care what Alex Earl is promoting for makeup. I care what Jerrica likes and what Jerrica likes for makeup, right? I'm just making up like whatever you make. Let me see like what your agency insider helping Hollywood's overlooked build visibility and leverage. Okay, I love that automatically, right? So it's like helping people be seen, helping people get recognized, but it's like you help people because you know what it's like for people to not recognize you. Projectors and recognition go hand in hand. You're like, no, I know you're supposed to pay attention to me, so like, why are you sleeping on me? I don't focus on why people are sleeping on me if I haven't done the work, right? Like people stop sleeping on me when I show up every day and I post a piece of content. I say this to my people all the time, and you know this. I know that you know this. But I think asking yourself the question, how do I make this simpler for me today, is what's going to be different. If you look at my last video that I posted today, it was a 7-second clip with like 3 sentences that were about a Mars sign, right? And people are engaging in the comments because they know. I say, if you comment what your placement is in the house that it's in, and I'll give you a free tip. Now, there are people who are like, I'm not giving that away for free. I'm not going to spend time in the comments. I actually like to give back to people and choose to use this work as a place that actually helps people. I'm not just doing it for vanity metrics. Hey, harm. So for me, it's like, I like to spend time in the comments communicating with my people who give a shit about paying attention to me, right? So it's like that recognition also builds an appreciation with my people, the 9 of you that are here right now listening to me yap, right? That isn't lost on me. So that's how I show my appreciation. But I am not talking about human design simply because it gets me engagement. I'm talking about human design because I give a shit about it. I also have the 1-8 channel, which is part of what makes you a projector. I have that projector channel. So that's how I choose to lead from. It's literally the channel of inspiration. I'm inspired by human design. This actually helps me in my life. That's what I share. Not, well, what are people going to pay attention to? What are other people sharing? I inherently attract people that are interested in this work because I'm genuinely excited about it. So that's what other people pay attention to, because I know that it actually helps people. I tried human design for 4 years before I charged anyone for it. So operating in that same mentality is important, right? Focusing, yeah, absolutely. So focusing on like, okay, what do you want to be recognized for? Hey, Mesh, how are you? Is that Tyra? Wait, no, Mesh. Okay, hi, welcome. Sorry, you look so much like Tyra, who's one of my other clients. Hi, EJ, welcome. That's important, right? So in the last 2 minutes, we're working together. Before I pivot over to Josh, I just want to read to you, sorry, hello, the last 2 paragraphs here. You are the quintessential torchbearer who loves to inspire others to pay attention to assets and ideals that resonate with you, whether those be of a personal, family, or business nature. You delight in passing the flame of your own excitement to everyone around you, and at times expand trust, prosperity, co-creation, and all manner of potentially rewarding experiences to the entire world. Retaining your inner balance while you are doing this can be a challenge at times, especially if you find yourself around people who are not ready to commit themselves to you or your offerings as wholeheartedly as you sense they could. What's going to happen because of the industry that you're in with creatives is that people say that they want the attention. People say that they want the recognition, but they don't want it bad enough to post the fucking content to get recognized, to be seen. I can give you the most perfect content strategy as Jerrica, right? But if you don't open that damn phone and that camera and film anything to put online, then you're sleeping on yourself. Then I can't do anything for you. So that's why you really, as a projector especially, right, you have to show people that you are consistent with it. Your reviews, your testimonials are in the work you do on yourself, right? The things that you do. I'm not saying that it's easy. The hard part of that, right? Exactly. I love that, right? That's just, I'm sorry, Dana. I love you guys, I swear. It's true because I had to be this tough with myself, right? Like it works. But if you want people to recognize you, you have to give them something that's worth recognizing. Statistically true. I'm going to end with this as I pivot over. And remember, Jerrica, this is recorded so you have it to read back to or reference back to. This recording is going on YouTube. You'll see it under my TikTok folder. But it takes people an average of 7 times to see you, to know you enough to follow you, to buy something from you, to trust you, right? So if you post once a day, that's already your 7 times, right? But if you aren't posting or you skip a day, you know, instead of saying, oh, I lost the day, like no one's paying attention to me, you have to get back on the horse and the next day you post twice, right? Like allow yourself to make up from that time and know that the energy has to come from somewhere. I always say, and you guys know that I say this as somebody who worked a 9-to-5 job as I was building the business that I have now, that I let my job believe that what I gave as 50% was my 100. And then every once in a while, I went a little bit more above and beyond. But I knew that my job in insurance, working with cars, I was a claims adjuster. I was literally the person that you see that you're crying to when your car has totaled. That was me. So that taught me how to get really strict with certain parts of my energy that I don't regret, right? But I knew that that wasn't my end all be all. So I didn't care when my boss was mad at me that I left, right? So that, again, your day job is it's the priority to pay your bills, but it's not the priority for what you should be doing or prioritizing, right? That energy, again, has to come from somewhere. Choose it wisely. A 7-second clip, something really simple, can be really helpful to you. So helpful. This is for a projector, although it honestly applies to all of you to choose where the energy is coming from. In other words, someone can show you the path, but you must walk it. 1,000%. 1,000%. But yeah, so, Alyssa, thank you. Oh, this is another Alyssa. I just saw she booked. Never mind. Alyssa's not here. Let me pivot over to Josh. Before I do that, let me look at one thing. Yeah. And it's a matter of like, for you, Jerrica, what I'll end with is that whatever you want to do for a career is the right thing. No, it's a matter of like, how willing are you to be dedicated to what you want to do? True for all of you guys, to be able to make money doing it. Whatever desire that the universe, God, whatever you want to say, has put on your heart, it really is true that it can be yours, right? That's finding that balance. But you have to be the one that prioritizes it. No one is going to come in and save you and prioritize that for you, right? This is going to be a helpful kind of transition because of Josh's question. So let me scroll back to find it, because I think what you were saying, Josh, it was like words to the effect of like, why, like something about follow through. Oh, when do I delay big decisions? Did you mean when do you delay big decisions, or why do you delay big decisions? Because those are 2 very different questions. Even though it's one word, I'll ask for a clarifier there. So is it why do you delay big decisions, or when? Because a lot of it is, a lot of the reasons that people don't, if it's why, the first thing that I'll say is like, depending on the environment that you're in, because Josh is also a projector that literally has a birthday before you, Jerrica. So you guys are very similar. You literally have the same incarnation cross. So, and 3 5s. Oh, what's the trigger? I think you were saying certain people should delay. Oh, so for you, that doesn't apply because you're a self-projected authority. That was for emotional authorities. So what's the trigger? I think you were saying certain people should delay. For you, you're a self-projected projector. So when you feel intuitively ready, you just need a sounding board to talk out the semantics. Like if we were to meet in a session, my session with you would be, Josh, okay, 15 minutes. I need you to blurt out everything. We're going to do a brain dump. I create a Google Doc for you. I'm typing up all the things that you're telling me. And then we create a timeline and a structure for what date you want to accomplish something by. So my human design reading for you wouldn't just be like, and Josh, this is what your ajna means. And this is what your throat means. For me, I'm like, you guys came here because you have a problem that needs solving. I want to leave you with something that when you hit end on the Zoom, you have something to do, right? So for you, Josh, at your core, you know what you want to prioritize. Self-projected authority just means that you need somebody that you know, like, and trust to prioritize. I just saw a little smoke cloud from my candle burning out. I was like, let me make sure my little veil isn't on fire here. Accountability, exactly. And accountability, yes, because of that undefined ego heart motivation center. Tomorrow, instead of actually going on live during the day for an hour, I'm going to do a co-working session because I have the center defined. So I pour out my motivation into other people, pour from that overflow. I'm sitting here working whether you guys are here or not. But it can be hard for you guys to self-motivate if you don't have that center defined, if it's totally open like Josh is. Or it can be hard for you to feel like some of the not self themes of this is like, I'm doing this. I want to do this, but there's 900 other people who are doing it. Like, I'm doing this. You know how many dead human design accounts there are on TikTok? If you type in human design, there's like 10 of us that consistently post, if that. And then there's like all these dead accounts of people who gave up when they didn't hit 1,000 followers fast enough for them. I was never worried about the number. I was worried about the quality of people that I connected with, which is why, right, when we're in here, like, how many times, we could count on one hand missing like 3 fingers, how many times someone comes in here and says some off-color weird shit, right? Other lives aren't exactly like that, because I taught the algorithm how to treat me, and I wasn't as concerned about the metrics of the numbers, right? There are people who have 60,000 followers and their engagement is shit because they were worried about collecting people in a wide net versus setting intentions with people. Exactly. I wanted to make sure that it was numbers of good people. I don't want a shitty army, right? Like, I want you guys to be empowered people who want to do better for yourselves, right? So date setting, right? That being said, is like having a specific date that you tie something to. Because when you have that kind of like a month or two in the future, Josh, not something that's super soon, but something that gives you like, okay, by the end of the spring, come June 21st, that's the first day of summer, longest day of light of the year. Come June 21st, right? Gate 5, again, we're operating with the seasons. I want to have XYZ accomplished. And then you want to reverse engineer to like, how do you want to chip away at that goal every single day? So that goal isn't like, I want to make 10,000 TikTok, I want to get 10,000 TikTok followers or 100,000 YouTube, whatever views, by next week, right? Then you're putting yourself in a sense of crisis where your nervous system, especially as a projector, isn't wired to receive that right away, especially with your digestion being nervous digestion. It's not that you're always a nervous person, but it just means that like you need to mull over details for a certain period of time to process them appropriately. To know it's also that Gemini we were talking about the last time I read for you, or the last time you were here. I can't remember. But that's important. You have a quality to your design sense. So your sense that comes from this side is also inner vision. So every day, a bite-sized way, yes, that you would process that specific goal, or I want to, like, what's like an area of life that you want to manifest something in, Josh, or you've been sleeping on yourself. It could be it doesn't have to be very specific. You don't have to share that if you don't want to, but what's just like an area that you have been wanting to grow in? Is it, you could say social media, you could say career, you could say romantic relationships, you could say education, anything. Okay, so new entrepreneurial venture. So you have longer term goals for this venture, right? There's definitely a dollar amount or something that's going to make you feel satisfied in the energy expenditure to appreciation that you've seen in this entrepreneurial venture, or at least like an energetic exchange of like, anything along those lines. Hey, Lisa Marie. So set a date for yourself of June 1st. And I say this again because you, like me, and like basically everybody else that's been here today, has a gate 5 in their human design body graph, right? So when it comes to what you want to accomplish throughout the spring, for that new entrepreneurial venture, have a larger goal that's set by like maybe you launch it on June 21st or for the summertime. But up until then, what are the bite-sized steps that you can do every single day to get that venture launched, right? Now, there's a couple things that I was telling my projector that I was mentoring today, one of my mentees that's in my mentorship program, that you need to focus on turning the dial up a little bit more loudly on either in person or online. So if that entrepreneurial venture is mostly going to be in the online space, there's something that you should do every single day to cultivate activating online activity in some way, whether that's building your website, your payment processor, your accounts, your platforms, your software, your, investing or studying or watching a YouTube video for how to set up or decide between 3 softwares. You need to give yourself that deadline because your Gemini moon and your projectorness is going to use the excuse of, I just need to know all the data that I can about every booking software in existence. It's like pick 3, then pick 1, right? Like pick the top 3 that you have decided, or the top 3 that you're going to invest in. And then you pick that one software and then you spend time. Yeah, exactly. I just want to feel that success again. Exactly. And listen, you have a strong personality, you have a strong aura. Like you don't have the disposition energetically, even though we've never spoken in real life, right? I know nothing besides, I've never heard your voice before. I haven't met you, right? But like that, I know enough to know, just based on energetics and intuition and your human design body graph, that any projector is capable of success, but you definitely have that predisposition, especially because of all that Virgo. You're like, imperfection is not an option. But what helps you to get out of that overthinking that comes with that Gemini and having a lot of Virgo in your chart. I also attract a lot of Virgo moons, in addition to Gemini moons, so Gemini placements, but a lot of Virgo moons. Is like picking the top 3 things so you don't create analysis paralysis over all the software that could possibly exist. What my projector said to me today, because I've been helping her connect with Calendly, and she was like, well, all of my other friends that have businesses that are successful, like they don't use Calendly. And I was like, well, they're not mentoring you, are they? I'm mentoring you. I know that Calendly works. So if you want to do other software, that's fine. But if we're flowing with what you know and see and liked, in me and my business, and what I have a proven track record of success, right, is Calendly, and that being good booking software, because it eliminates all those steps for you, right? Because I was like, I'm not going to go through, what's the process of this booking software and that booking software, and also looking at budgeting too. So that's also going to be something important to pay attention to. But if you allow yourself to go through, okay, every Monday, because you're a Gemini moon, I spend 2 hours or 1 hour or 30 minutes as a research day towards my business that's going to be launching my new entrepreneurial venture come the summer. And it doesn't have to launch come the summer, but there's phase 2 that you want to be in, that if you spend every single day with that gate 5, having an hour or a half hour or time carved out with intention to kind of get lost in whatever you're studying, that's going to be helpful. I don't even care if it's like 30 seconds that you spend doing something that pour into your business. I'm more concerned about daily intentional action that like creates the structure of like, okay, now because you spent 5 minutes to 5 hours of intention every single day being a projector with that gate 5 and a Gemini moon and a Virgo stellium, getting lost in the details, then you can come back out again, start fresh with new information that you can apply to the next day to grow into phase 2. Right? So for you, it would just be, well, who do I know, like, and trust enough to share this business adventure? Yeah, exactly. Because that's also, again, with an undefined sacral, and in human design, we read energy that comes into your aura from the bottom up. Look how all these 4 centers are open. So it's like, oof, I feel that energy and that intensity from other people. But then it stops at your identity center and you say, okay, I know that I feel and I may have taken action, motor centers, on what other people want me to do. But I'm pivoting now while that is not my first priority of the day, right? If you're a morning person, right, who wants to go sailing or play soccer or play guitar or, go skiing. I'm just using all the emojis next to your name in the morning, right? Like I want to prioritize what I'm doing for my business in the morning as well, right? Habit stacking, atomic habits, that also can be the momentum building. And then you're training your nervous system to not act on other people's priorities, but to act on what your priority is too. So not letting that let you be lost on you, I'll say. Yeah, all the emojis, exactly. Exactly. Because you have that where it's like, I love like self-projectors. What's the most aligned way for me to make an offer? An online course. So it depends on what you are offering. I would say that if you are doing an online course, I want to see modules that you are in. This is really good business advice in general for the online space when it comes to a content creation perspective that I'll give to all of you guys. If your major offering is something where people are seeing you recorded, right? Like if it's a recorded course, an evergreen course is what that's called, where it's something that you create once, it lives on your website, you SEO optimize it to the best of your ability, and then it goes evergreen, which means that if people are to study, like if I were to do a human design certification course and people are to look up human design certification, I pop myself up, right? Okay, so evergreen course. So that tells me that, what I would incorporate with an evergreen course is that once people get to like week 4, say it's an 8-week evergreen course, once they get to week 4, that you hold like an office hours or an hour where they get access to you just for an hour, less is more, because what you're teaching people with an evergreen course is that they don't always have access to your energy. And that's not a bad thing. It's like absence makes the heart grow fonder. I don't bust my ass trying to answer every person's comment in the comments section when I have other people that pay me, that ask me questions directly in Patreon. That's money that they've paid me. There's a hierarchy for energy exchange there, right? So for you, it would be a matter of like self-projected authority. You want people to have some sort of connection with you. Maybe it's that you hold office hours halfway through when they get through week 4 of the course that's self-guided, because they're also seeing you talk, right? Being a self-projected authority, where one of the only 2 energy centers that you have defined or have consistent access to is your throat. You want to be talking to your people. So for you, it's natural, right? But remember, what you want your flow to be. Maybe it's also like, for an extra fee or an upsell, people within it, like people book a one-on-one reading with you, but like, they get like a discount if they have the evergreen course, right? Depends on how you want to train people. One of the people that I liked, cause I was doing a virtual assisting for an arts podcast called the Savvy Painter Podcast. And she had me take Sunny Lenarduzzi's course. Sunny Lenarduzzi has a big YouTube presence, and she talks about evergreen courses and her Authority Accelerator program. So like I was taking that on behalf of the woman that I was doing the virtual assisting for, right when I was like 24, 25. And she talks a lot about evergreen courses. So she's a good resource. I forget who else. If you look her up on YouTube, there'll be other people that pop up that will help you, but she has a lot of good information for free. And kind of practicing her model. I think that her course is up to like, I want to say it's like closer to 10 grand now. It's a lot of money, but I think that you're smart enough to like pick and choose wisely, because even paying 10 grand, you're getting a lot of data and outlines. Like if you can swing it, you may like it. But I also think that like being an educated person, having a Gemini moon, I don't know if you necessarily need that at this time. So I'll be transparent with that. You're buying access to the intellectual property essentially for 10 grand. Like that's what it costs to them. So paying attention to that. I thought I may have seen or heard a little animal outside. Yeah, so your voice, or knowing that there's a way for people to connect with you or hear your voice and connect in some way, important. Maybe instead of office hours, instead of hosting them privately, you host office hours on TikTok Live or YouTube Live. Right? Okay, yeah, so you already know. You consumed all the content on that. So yeah, now it's time to create it, right? So like, what do you want to be recognized for? Yeah. Having that ability after you start posting, like to go live, to share with people what's going to be in the evergreen course, and as you get comfortable, like if you want to share your niche or whatever that is, like I can give some more specific directives, but there are people that are out there, no matter how specific your niche is, that are making content around what you want to create. It's funny. So I was in New Orleans with my fiance, and he's a corporate trainer for a tech company. And yeah, procrastination through preparation. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was telling you. I was like, now it's like, okay, I can prepare, but I have to prepare with a purpose. Like by the end of this week, I'm going to choose am I going to do Kajabi? Am I going to do Mighty Networks? Am I going to do, I'm trying to think of other, Teachable. Like what's your platform going to be for where you host the evergreen course, right? Have that decided. And then maybe come the summer is when you actually start creating the content that's going into the evergreen course. And maybe that's just the outline. And then the fall is when you create the modules. And in the winter is when you launch it. But I would also consider, like, whoever you're creating the evergreen course for, you have to look at what the cycles of their life also is. The content thing I was going to say, I was in New Orleans with my fiance for his company, and there's a woman that makes content on YouTube about their software, and she isn't hired by the company that he works for, but because she got popular on YouTube and it's such a specific niche of people, like she's like the only person that like has like the ability to capture that many people. They flew her in to New Orleans and gave her an award for it. So it's like there are ways, right, that cross functionality of corporate life and content creation that also exists. But I just say that, like, don't sleep like on your niche, and also in connection with that, to also pay attention to what is the life cycle, or when people are, whatever you're going to teach people, when do people like to learn whatever it is that you're teaching? When do they have bandwidth for that? Are you teaching people who have children, right? Or maybe are at the age of having children, or children is a more obvious lifestyle choice for people who are within your niche. I wouldn't launch something like an evergreen course for them to take in the summertime when kids don't have school. So yeah. And I would think about, I had a few choices about what I might make content about. That's one struggle I've had. Yeah. And I would say like overarching theme for this would be like, what's one thing you want to start with? Because as projectors, you're going to have many things that you do over your lifetime. It's not good to do them simultaneously, because if you're everything to everyone, you're nothing to nobody. So have it be under hey, goddess wife, for all my projectors here, but also really good in general. Like I'm a human design reader, but you guys are just getting also really good, content, like advice right now. So I'm also teaching you business stuff, but you know me from human design. I'm not worried about in my bio saying human design reader, astrologer, business content creator, business mentor, recently retired arts and music management, right? I'm not worried about listing all that because it's evident in my examples that I give that I'm a multifaceted manifesting generator. So the hub, the umbrella is human design reader and mentor, right? Human design mentor. Human design and astrologer, right? So, and all of you guys are too, right? But it's a matter of like, we all have that, especially with how much you know, right? And thank you for saying that, right? I pride myself in, I've learned a lot and have done the work to be a full package, finding that balance, right? Yeah, I came here to learn about what human design was. Now I'm opening this exactly. I'm screenshotting that. Here's the buffet, right? Here's the spiritual buffet. I come to nourish all. But thank you. Yeah, because this is how you integrate this information in real life, right? Like it's one thing if I'm not the reader who's just interested in decoding the exact vocabulary words for you. Like as far as I'm concerned, like of your own volition, you could read that in a book, but I'm like, okay, how do we take this and then make a tangible out of it for like how this applies to your evergreen course, your content creation, how you're going to find a husband. We were talking about that last night on YouTube Live. Every Wednesday I'm on YouTube Live at 7:30. But yeah, so things like that, right? I forget what I was going to say, but yeah, picking one thing that you make, because now what you're teaching yourself is having a business and an evergreen course. When you pivot to a new niche, you know how to make an evergreen course already. So that subject and that skill set didn't leave you. Yeah, I have thought about a course on fear, yes, and also using correct AI tools to make software. I love that. I mean, as a projector, like you see and can teach us like great ways to incorporate like the things that are coming out, right? Like the new technology ahead of time. So definitely helpful. Hi, cool mom. Welcome. Thank you so much. And I think, yeah, I mean, fear, the thing that's really consistent is that at any point in anyone's life, someone's going to experience fear, and that fear is going to change forms. We never stop feeling fear. We feel the fear and do it anyway, right? To use that riff off that quote, we feel the fear and do it anyway. But I think that everything you're going through right now is also like you being the perfect example, you being like, what's your hero's journey? Yeah, do it scared. Exactly. Do it scared. There are times where like I get off live and I'm like, oh, or less so now, but like, especially when it's first starting, I was like, oh, why did I say it that way? Why did I write that thing that way? Can I remember what it was that I said? Because I've gone live so many damn times. I go live basically two times a week at least, sometimes 3. I don't even remember what it was. That doesn't keep me up at night anymore because it's irrelevant. Because I know at least at the end of the day, I'm not operating from a place of like pitting people against each other, being, having malice or anger or intense aggression or like trying to take any people down. Like I keep my side of the street clean. I'm an intense person. I protect what's mine, what I've worked hard for, but I know that I'm not operating from a place of evil intention. So whatever I said could have been a misstep, but it was nothing that came from a place of like, oh, that was like a crazy thing, off-color thing that you said, right? So that can be part of the doing it scared from a communication perspective. It can be, I don't know, fear of asking for a raise. Maybe you walk people through I love acronyms when it comes to evergreen courses, 4 weeks about like, or maybe it's, what is focus, FOCUSFEAR, fear focus, a 9-week course where each letter surrounds a different fear topic, right? Like I do human design hotline, human design happy hour in person. We do, I got sponsored by Soiree, which is a non-alcoholic beverage company that's owned by one of the Real Housewives of New Jersey, who I read for a year ago on her birthday. And so I bring those beverages to in-person places. Hello, goddess, yes. In-person events. And then we drink that, sip and share. And then I do like a teaching about human design. And then I read for people. So for me, that works really well. I like the alliteration. I like that. But I like to prioritize online. Secondary to that is in-person events, right? So I even have a dial up more online than I do in person as an example. So hi, the pretty preacher. Welcome. But yeah, so a couple other things, but just to answer Dwadaki's question, yes, our beautiful Aries sun, happy belated birthday. Also Virgo, Moon, Scorpio, rising 2-4 reflector. Hi, sunrises. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. What changes and improvements should be expected in May? People not sleeping on themselves anymore. So that's why Josh is ready to start his course. Where I ask you guys a couple things I'll pose you with. Where have you been sleeping on yourself? Where have you been sleeping on yourself? Where are you sick and tired of being sick and tired from sleeping on yourself? And what is it that you can actually do to take action on the thing that you've been sleeping on? Right? So like I was having a conversation with one of my best friends today on my walking pad. Yeah, too many years of low vibrations for me. And talk about that. That's a great thing for content, like low vibrations playing into fear, right? I'm diving into a psychology course. I love that. I love that. That's so like Scorpio rising of like the intensity of like, I need to understand the mind, right? I love that. This is speaking as somebody with 5 Scorpio placements, so I know it well. But yeah, not sleeping on yourself anymore. Dwadaki, what we were talking about too, like prioritizing the values of what you want out of a partner. We were talking about love and relationship for you over TikTok live last night. Make the, yeah, D Marie, she's saying, make the course. You're so funny, D. Thank you. I appreciate that. Cause it's like, at the end of the day, like whether you don't, what is it? Whether you do or you don't, I'm mixing 2 quotes together. It's like whether you believe that you can or you can't, you're right. And this is where we play a role in our own suffering because we're so afraid of a fear. And this is something that you can talk about too, Josh. Like we're so afraid of a fear that we create. And a lot of what I've been talking about, hey, Maple, is self-fulfilling prophecies. So what was interesting is I noticed this a lot when it came to the video that I posted about Saturn returns and how I wrote the word nervous, but so many people were like, I'm terrified about my Saturn return that somebody is going to die. I'm terrified that I'm going to not be here anymore. I'm terrified that like my life is going to go to shit because there's so much fear that's been created around those things. And it's like, well, if I fear it so much that, and I know that, and then I believe so much in the fear that it's not going to work out, then I don't do anything and it doesn't work out, not because I tried and failed, but because I didn't do anything. So it thus creates a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So that's where we get into this like cycle of shit of like staying stuck in that like analysis paralysis, procrastination, right? Based on fear, right? So that's a fear perspective we could talk about too, for many different things. Yeah. I see myself by not being seen. I'm Celio. Oh, I want to be seen without being seen. You goddess, what you have capital letters, a spooky, witchy, fun profile. I don't know what your profile picture is, but I love the colors, right? Like that magenta to orange to black. Like you have energy of intensity. What you're seen already, like people are acknowledging you. I feel it in you. So like that Leo MC is coming through regardless. But that's why it's like, maybe you just want to be known for creating a thought movement on TikTok and on YouTube. You don't have to post your face. There are people who have successful contents on here. All you see is their hands. For people who are afraid to be on camera, I give that example all the time where like just do a video where literally, right? This is my cute little square faceless content. Like post your tarot cards here. I'm going to do this, right? Here's like my stuff. And I'm like, okay, here are the charms that I throw. And oh, the Laneige lip gloss in this corner means that blah, blah, blah. Right? Like, have you seen those people that do like those charm readings and like there's no face? You don't even have to be on camera if you don't want to, right? But remember, anything that you want to do is supposed to be fun. Don't make it unenjoyable for yourself because the world taught you it's supposed to be hard. If I didn't like talking to you guys and helping you and giving you information, I would not be on TikTok live because I wouldn't be enjoying it. I would figure out another way, right? If I wanted to create content at all. If I didn't want to create content at all, I would be doing things in person because I wouldn't want to be on my phone that much, right? But I like being on my phone. So just some other ideas, right? My shoes consistently because I don't feel like, well, I mean, you're an Aries rising, my dear. So yeah, that's gonna come up quick. You're like, oh, should have fucking happened yesterday. The second you think about it, so wherever Aries is in your chart, right, your creativity and you're not coming fast enough. Aries is where we're impatient also and immature. So it's like, it's not, oh, Tina, hi, yes, I see you. It's not coming fast enough. I can't get it fast enough. Like it's not flowing through fast enough. So, Virgo rising. Sorry, I got you confused with, our other Aries rising that I was reading for earlier, Mégane. Sorry. Hi, Danita. But wherever Aries is in your chart is like where we need to do a little bit more patience. And right now there's something that happens that we forget about. And basically, technology has advanced so much, but the work that it takes to become an overnight success still takes consistency every single day, right? Oh, another Virgo rising. Yes, my 2 Virgo risings. So it's that finding that balance of like, what is something that I know when I do it every single day is something that's chipping away at me getting to my goal. If it's content creation is just an easy example for me to use because we're on TikTok. So if you're on, in your 8th, so other people sleeping on you, not getting recognized enough for how much depth you have, feeling impatient with that, contracts not being signed quickly enough for you because maybe people want to take their time before they commit to you in some way, shape, or form, taking forever before they subscribe to you, right? That can also be some things that we see popping up. So it's like impatience in your spirituality. You're developing your spiritual gifts. If you wanted to be somebody who is an intuitive, we can also see that with those placements too. The money not coming in fast enough. I mean, that's a big one for everybody. It's not coming fast enough. My wallet doesn't reflect that. Paying attention to those things. Again, for me, I know that if I'm not posting every single day because my business is online, I'm not showing up for my people in the way that I want to, right? So I'm sleeping on myself, but I'm also sleeping on my people because I know that to use the Gandhi quote, I want to be the change that I see in the world or want to see in the world, be the change you wish to see in the world. Yeah, see me now, exactly. And like, if you're hiding, we can't see you, right? So it's like, if you're not posting, then like, you can't be mad for people sleeping on you when you're sleeping on yourself, right? It stings, I know, but I say that because I know that you deserve it and you have a voice. So it's like, use it, right? Like we are in such a point in time, 150 years ago, I couldn't even vote. If I were talking about the things that I was talking about to my phone right now, to you guys right now, I wouldn't be alive to tell the tale. So I don't take that lightly, not as an insult to my ancestors. Exactly. And remember, like, you're the talent. So just show up and talk about what you want to talk about. Don't try to get recognized for anything. For a projector, not all press is good press. Okay? Not all press is good press. Tina, I'm just bringing up your chart now. Oh, let's see. Let me see. Oh, so Tina, what did I put your chart? I'm like, did I put it under sunsets or Tina? Hold on, I'll look for both. Okay, to confirm that I have the right Tina, October 22nd. Hey, friend. Yeah, absolutely. I was speaking about taboo stuff. Some people don't like that. Yeah, and it's like, if you want to be faceless and speak about taboo, definitely do. I like to talk about taboo stuff too, but I don't want to be known for that on the internet. So that happens in my private conversations. I'm like, there's nothing, the things that people tell me in one-on-one readings, like, you guys wouldn't believe their stories if I shared them with you on live. But they're so crazy that you end up believing them. So, but yeah, Tina, are you my October 22nd Tina? I think so, right? Yeah, I love being on your lives. I learned so much. You truly are living your truth. Thank you so much. I appreciate you saying that. I screenshotted that for myself. I'm literally applying for jobs. Yay! I'm so glad. Yeah, feeling the energy. Hi, Yoni. Hi, Jay. Hi, Bren. I know I said hi, but I want to say hi twice. So nice I said it twice. I would love to hear some I can imagine. Oh my God, yeah. I'll have to think about like who's somebody that I can share or would be comfortable with me sharing that wouldn't be like, Because some stories I have, they're like defining, like they definitely give people away. So I'm like, I don't want to totally share that. The one story that I'm thinking of is like very obvious. Although that person's not here all the time. Yeah, no loss. Yeah. And I'm like very like, can I share this? Yeah. I believe them either way. Thank you. Yes. Yes. You're like, what the hell? Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm always the person that'll just be standing there and people start talking to me. And who was I? Oh, I was at my friend's wedding last Wednesday, and I only knew my friend, and I actually hadn't even met her partner yet. My friend Riley, she's a reflector that I've mentioned a few times before. And there was a woman that was also there, and we had gotten food, and I'm just content. Like, I'll just sit in silence. I'll talk to people. Like I'm, indifferent and very comfortable in just like being in places where I don't know anybody. And, she was turning to me and she's like, thank you for being so easy to talk to. And I was like, no, like you're like, how can I not be like that? Thank you, Josh. I appreciate you. Yeah. I have heard it all and have yet to be. Yeah. Oh Lord. Yes. There you go. Exactly. I've witnessed and experienced so much as well, just as people just tell me their life story. Exactly. Excuse me. They're like, I sense you too have Lord that I want access to. Yeah, but Tina, if you're here, let me know. And just confirm that you're my October 22nd, Tina. To make sure I have the right chart up in front of me. I can do this so you guys can see. And I'll wait until Tina is here. And then we're about, like 2 hours in. Yeah, so all the recordings of these readings are all recorded. If you guys have enjoyed anything that I've said from a content perspective, yes, and sunrises, Tina, you're the October 22nd, right? Just confirm that for me. I was just waiting for the thumbs up or something to make sure I have this right chart. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Now I'm like paranoid about making all my Tinas in a row. Yeah, what is happening? Life right now is being very comical. Yeah, and you just started a new job, right? If I'm not mistaken, like very recently. I feel like I saw a beautiful, like there was something we were talking about, like a beautiful piece of content, right? Yeah. So I feel like intuitively what I also had to guess, because we also have that grand cross that's happening. We have the new moon in Taurus that is on Sunday. I think it's late Saturday, early Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Sunday's when I'm doing my new moon circle and Patreon for that. But we have a big square basically happening for everybody. So people are walking around like raw nerves. Now, what you want to pay attention to, right? Especially because having a lot of Scorpio energy like I do, as we've talked about, is not taking the bait of the low-hanging fruit, like not getting into petty, stupid arguments because other people don't know how to act, right? What's hard for us, because we're very dominant personalities and assertive women, is that not fighting or trying not to strong-arm people to bend at your will is a challenge right now, right? Yeah, exactly. Laughing at them, it's like whatever, right? And also like when you're the new girl in town, right? Like there's always people who are just like, yeah, I can't help it. Exactly. Let me see. Finding that balance of knowing like when, like if it's something that comes to like doctor's offices, like things with Nick, right? Like there's a certain element of like you have to be the squeaky wheel to like get the most oil, to use that metaphor analogy, I always forget the word, to use that example, right? So like there's some places and spaces where I'm like, where health is involved, where safety is involved, where kids are involved. Like there are times where like you're gonna push for those things. But I think more so probably what you're experiencing is feeling that a lot of people are fearful right now because of that undefined spleen center that you have. Also that ego motivation center, like I don't see you as somebody who suffers with like unworthiness per se, but I think that having that center undefined can definitely make you feel depleted when you feel like you're not appreciated, which is like par for the course of placements like that. But I know my projectors will understand that too. Neptune also being in Aries right now. right, is also, again, people walking around like raw nerves. And you also have an Aries Chiron. Thank you, Maple. Yeah. So that's kind of acting some like wounded healer, like gate 21 activity. So what's interesting, yeah, exactly. Legit don't care. Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, like you've dealt with so many other things in life that are just so much more important, and like understanding the fragility of life, that like, it's not like, why bother? Because Neptune is on your wounded healer, which is gate 21, it's giving you a little bit of haziness about like how to go after what you want and in what way. Lean into that, not in the aspect of like, I'm not doing anything about it, but I know that things are a little bit murky right now. So I'm going to wait because this too shall also pass. Doing the due diligence of kind of like going through the motions of cosplaying like normal adult, where people don't know how spiritual and witchy we are behind the scenes, right? Like, everyone at the grocery store, everyone at the office, like doesn't have to know. Like people when I was working in insurance, like nobody knew what I was doing behind the scenes with human design. There were some clients or some people that I connected with that you know, when it came to their car, but like the people that actually worked at Schmeiko and Schmurrance didn't know what I was into or what I was about, because I didn't need that validation from them there, right? Neither do you. With gate 21 in the second line, right, we're also looking at a quality of hermit time being needed through different seasons of your life. So this may just be a time where, with that wounded healer being activated, it's healing in you a time to say, you know what, you're working hard during the week, allow yourself to rest. Maybe the spring, or just at least May, is a more introverted time for you. You don't have to be out and about as much unless you really want to be, to just enjoy your life. It's not about like hustling or grinding, other than just like, let me just, again, cosplay like normie normie for the season, for the spring season, before we get into summertime. We also have Lilith that's in Scorpio too. So it's bringing kind of like an activation femme fatale energy, where you kind of have this like sexual, I don't know if prowess is the word, but like people find you sexy even when you're not trying to be sexy, because you're Scorpio Mercury and you're Scorpio Venus. It's kind of like, almost like, it's, unfortunately, people will predispose you to be more sexually objectified, with Scorpio being in Lilith now, also like transiting that area of your life or those aspects. So it's not always the best feeling to be on display when we have that kind of like femme fatale energy. Now, if you want to use it in any degree, you know, you have access to that. Although the emotional fulfillment, you know, aspect of that gate 14 there, Scorpio, is also like up for you to decide. So is it like that men in particular, or like people, like romantic partners, you know, for however you find a romantic partner, aren't treating you exactly the right way, right? I usually speak, forgive me, in heteronormative terms, just because I'm in a heteronormative relationship. But yeah, so what is that kind of looking like for you? Also can be potentially another trigger. Because Mars has also moved out of Cancer into Leo, right? That area of your life is also getting a little bit more activity. So what it's doing for people in general, to use your word comical, is like, it's almost as like, I think of like the Little Mermaid, when Ariel like finally got her legs and like she was walking on land and she didn't really know how to use them. It's like people, basically the feeling of Mars leaving Cancer and going into Leo is like people sleeping, and then all of a sudden their alarm goes off and they realize that they've overslept by like 30 minutes or an hour, and they're going to be late for work, and now they're getting up and they're rushing around and they're trying to do something, and like they're trying to make things happen. So two ways that this can go. What's helpful for you is that you also have a defined root, so you can feel this about people, and other people can be comical, but you don't have to be a victim of their suffering, right? Also knowing this, so it's like, ooh, when I feel like getting a little silly and wacky and like getting my sea legs, so to speak, or getting my legs and I'm walking on land now, how do I not run on the hamster wheel? Maybe I want to get off the ride and just like have fun. So I just say this to be aware, because you are such an intuitive person, especially with all that Scorpio. Exactly. And like really understanding that at your core, like with that gate 48, that's the fear of inadequacy that can happen. Oops, wrong screen. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, okay, Sav, I see that you booked as well. I'm actually early because I started Tina's reading like 5 minutes early, so I'll spend 5 more minutes with Tina and then put in your chart. I have my glasses here, so if I don't have it zoomed in. But yeah, so because you are so intuitive, Tina, and like just so aware of energetics at play and like how people try to still play in your face and you're like, this is embarrassing for all of us. Like, I know that you don't fuck with me. I'd rather we just not talk than like pretend to care about each other. You know, like that's fine. Like I can respect that. I can't respect like the fake lying aspect of it. Like that's really fucking annoying. But like there's some nugget of you because you do care about people. And want the world to be a better place with that gate 48, that's where that wounding. Yeah, Ellington, exactly. Like, I literally have said to people, like, it's okay that we don't get along. Like, I would just rather not talk. And they're like, all right, bet. Like, fine. All right, cool. Like, that's cool. And I'm like, great. Goodbye. You know, like, we'll deal with each other when we have to. I would rather, like, direct, like, I don't like you than, like, passive aggressiveness and, like, wasting all the energy for what, right? Like, what's the point? But again, gate 48 can hold the fear of inadequacy. So it's like any areas that feel a little raw, a little tender, maybe where you feel like unexperienced or lacking knowledge in some area, that can also be a little bit activated. That's Libra. So Neptune in Aries and Saturn in Aries is actually creating some like opposition to that area of your chart, right? It's opposite of it. So there's that line. They're opposing sides. So we can also feel a little bit of that. You know, gate 48 always is going to be something that you want to pay attention to, or like, where's that core wound that like lies under our defensive tendencies, right? So like we can be defensive and yeah. And like not remembering that like you, no matter how other people may make you try to feel at that job, like people want the help, but then they don't want to train people, and then they get mad when like the new hire doesn't do the job correctly, even though like, oh, I'm like, all right, bitch, when you started, did you know how to like fix this thing? Like, did you know this? No, like that's what you're here to teach me for. Like that's what we're here for, right? This is silly. And you know, for saying things, I have Anna who's here that started a new job, and you know, playing to that side because she's a Libra sun, playing to that side of like, listen, address the elephants, I always say. You know, and you can see exactly what that person's point of frustration is. I'm saying this for you specifically as Tina. Not everyone has that gift of insight with all of that Scorpio. But you can see it, right? My projectors are really good at that too. Address it, being like, listen, I know the last place you want to be is helping me right now, and I'm sorry that you have to do it and that's been put on your plate, but like, listen, I'm a fast learner. Let's get through this. We can, you know, if we go through this now, we can bullshit for a half hour after. Hi, Abigail. Your profile picture, I love that. We can bullshit for a half hour after. Like, let's, you know, try to break the ice if you have to. You have control over that. Yeah, or if I do it on my own, then I shouldn't have done it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if it's like, if that's to the point where like you're not going to win either way, but over time people are learning like how to treat you in that way, right? Hi. Yeah. Oh, yes. I love that. I love that. Yeah, it's like, let it be their problem. But the people that I know that are like not really as tough as they say that they are on the outside, and I can see that I can work with them a little bit or play to the humor of the situation. Because like, listen, we're all tired. Everyone gets tired. Everyone gets frustrated. Everyone that's working a corporate job right now is getting paid one salary. Yeah. And maybe that's a way of like, you know, if somebody, a lot of people are nervous about their jobs being taken for them right now, right? And there's a really good line or a law from the 48 Laws of Power, that book by Robert Greene, that's like, don't outshine the master. And it's because, especially in places and spaces where, yeah, they've hired you, but like they're also like learning to, oh, okay, we see that Tina is capable, we'll fire this broad and, you know, pay Tina $5,000 more a year. We've saved, you know, say, I don't know, say that woman's getting paid $45,000 by paying Tina $5,000 more, but now Tina's doing the job of two people. So like people are a little skittish when it comes to those areas. So doesn't make the behavior right. It explains it. It doesn't excuse that it's wrong. But you know, it's like use your gate 28, your gate of the game player, Scorpio. It's like, you know the rules so you can break them. Yeah. You know, they want me to ask for help. When overwhelmed, yeah, I can't help it. Can streamline so much. Yeah. Like figuring out, like, it's not your fault. There's nothing wrong with you. And it is kind of painful when I speak from experience with this. Like, I've done a lot of work on myself to be a good human in this world. I've struggled in like my friendships, like it's especially women friendships in person, like because I meet a lot of people that want to be my friend through work. I found that they don't actually want to be my friend. They want to befriend me so that they can have access to my knowledge, because it is a luxury to be my friend. Like it is a benefit to have that close access to me. But I realize that unfortunately not everyone has those good intentions, and that's hurtful, right? Because I really do know that I mean well, you mean well. I think we all can speak to having some feelings of that in some way, shape, or form, like people that I have here, right? But like that, I'm disappointed. I shake my head at it, and I don't like that it's a part of the world, but I focus on the people and the places and the people that actually want the help, right? So it's like, I may be disappointed at the way that people are acting right now, but I know enough to know better that like, that's the energy that we're feeling right now. It's not my responsibility to change the people that are committed to misunderstanding me, that don't actually want access to the guidance and the help right now. So I'll let sleeping dogs lie. Yeah, they're annoying, but it's like at the end of the day, like how can I find out a way to play the game again with your communication, gate 28, your Mercury being this gate placement, like how can I find a way to make sure that like less is more with this person and that I don't have to overextend my energy. Yeah, I give it 6 months. Yeah, exactly. And then you decide, maybe there's an opportunity, if you don't leave that job or you stay there, you can go somewhere else. Like they're like in the company, like maybe there's another position or another department. You know, I feel like every 3 months, as I pivot to Sav here, thank you, Tina. Every 3 months is a great time to kind of reassess at a job, like where you're at. Do you like the department that you're in? What is that? What does that kind of look like? So, the thing that I can say is there's nothing that you're doing wrong. I know that you know this. It's nice to have the reassurance, right? Yeah, exactly. In the words of Mel Robin. Yes, let them. Exactly. Like, okay, I know you're an idiot, like, fine, like, go embarrass yourself somewhere else. But, like, I'm not playing into that narrative of, like, I literally, when I got to the point, in building my confidence, like, I just stare at people and I don't say anything when they say something, like, some off-color shit. I'm like, okay, anyway, this is what I asked. Anyway, this is what I was talking about. Which I could totally see you being that way anyway, like, being that way, too. But yeah, it's not your problem. It's that TikTok audio. That's just not my problem. Letting it roll off your back. Yeah, I did that to my ex last night. Yes, it was a stare down. I believe it. Yeah, especially when it's like, there's a lot, like with your ex too. It's like that element of control is so frustrating. I need to do my military time conversion. Yeah, he came for Maddie's meat and freaking miss. Yeah, see, yeah. You're like, at that point, it's like mama bear protectiveness. Like, you're just insulting our child at this point. Not like, that's on you. Like, you can embarrass you. I don't have to embarrass you. You can do that all by yourself. That Garcelle from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills said that. Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing that you're doing wrong, Tina. It's that, like, there's so many people that are being shaken to their core. Then it's another level of people rising to the surface, Same one that aren't doing well. And it's not, there's nothing that you're doing wrong. You just have to learn how to navigate those waves when it's like 2021 all over again, where it's like that second wave of kind of like spiritual awakening. I focus on my corner of the world, how I can tend to my part of the ocean to, help clean up the oil spill in my area and make as much of the rest of the ocean as better as possible. But I can only be responsible for so many cubic inches or whatever of water. Yeah, when I really get somewhere it's for them, I then pull myself to the walk-in freezer and let it out. Yeah, there you go. Or the freezer spell. You write their name in a piece of paper and you put it in the freezer so they don't communicate with you anymore. That has worked, I will say. But yeah, so thank you, Tina. Thank you. And I'm wishing you the best. Don't feel like there's any way that you're being inadequate whatsoever. You care too much to feel that way. Okay, so beautiful Sav. I'll start a minute early here. So Sav is asking, I'm so lost in my career. I have so many interests and I have no idea what to focus on. Yeah. I currently work in a 9 to 5 and want to switch to working for myself. Can you tell me more about my chart and give me some insight into my career path? Yes. So a couple things. So you're a manifester in human design, a manifesting generator. I was looking at it. I blocked myself from the sacral. But you have an undefined G center, which is where you can struggle with a sense of identity. So what's helpful for you? Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. Good night in Ireland. My family is from Roscommon in Galway. So I have, my last name is Keeley, Brenna Keeley. So from fellow Irish girl to another. Nice to have you as a part of here. Thank you so much. Enjoy your rest. I appreciate you being here. But yeah, so Sav, thank you. So looking at being a manifesting generator, the vocab definition, the elevator pitch for Mangens is we're the multi-hyphenate, multi-passionate people who are here to do and accomplish many different things. Okay. So what happens when you have an undefined G center, excuse me, good night, is that you get lost in other people feeling so confident in what they're doing in the present moment that it puts pressure on you to feel like you have to pivot because someone has presented a bright, shiny object in front of you. There's some sort of like, sparkly, glittery, squirrel, new object syndrome, shiny object syndrome that you can get distracted by. And what the practice you have to cultivate to working with that center is when you think about what are the general themes and goals that you want for your life, right? It can be more broad than like thinking about the exact specific career that you want to have or be in, but more so like, I know that I want to make mid six figures. I know that I want to be a content creator. I don't know what I want to be a content creator for yet, but there's definitely some goal, generally speaking, that like you have some inkling about. Also, I will say, this is where jealousy and using jealousy not as a bad emotion to make yourself feel guilty also helps, because it shows you that somebody else has something that you know that you're capable of also obtaining too, but there's some way that you're sleeping on yourself, or there's just simply a knowledge gap where you just aren't simply educated enough to have reached that level of success yet. It's not that it's not possible. It's just that there's a knowledge gap in finding data there in some way, shape, or form, right? So with that undefined G center, I always say you want to act as a method actress, where thinking about whatever is some semblance of a North Star that you have for what you're going to do 5-10 years down the road, start to incorporate being that person today, right? Or who's somebody that you're inspired by? Who are your top 3 people that are expanders, we call them. That's a word from To Be Magnetic. But expanders, where it's people that show you that what you want is possible for you to obtain or to have in life. That's really good intel and data. I'm going to put a pin in that at this moment. And again, this is being recorded, so it's going to go on my YouTube between tonight and tomorrow. It just depends on how fast it processes. So you can listen back to this again and again. I'll put a rough timestamp in the comments below so you have that. But I want to read to you about some of the more consistent aspects of your personality, which is your incarnation cross. So for you specifically, you have the left angle cross of confrontation. An interesting combination. So Jordan Belfort, who is the guy that the movie Wolf of Wall Street was based off of, Malcolm McDowell, the Olsen twins, Anne Frank, and George H.W. Bush all have the same life purpose and life theme as you. So we can see how a lot of different backgrounds, people that have been successful, recognized for varying different ways, some sad, some good, some not so great, here. So left angle cross of confrontation too. So thinking about the things that if you could snap your fingers tomorrow and have your dream career, think of them through the lens of this being a consistent red thread in your life and your energy. And that's going to get you further on track in that right direction. So without further ado, your life theme is to take a leadership role in situations that need change. You have an inner drive to be in charge, particularly on the material plane, meaning like with money and buying things. And your challenge is to temper your emotions to the requirements of each situation. Don't let your hello Boricua sensei. Don't let your emotions overrule your decision making. You have a great ability to teach others how things should be done and have an urgency and ability to dramatically change any limiting circumstances confronting yourself and others. This can make it difficult to match the pace and timing of those who want your help and leadership. If you don't get your needs met, you are capable of causing a disturbance until you do, or you will abruptly distance yourself altogether from other people's confusion and their inability to make the changes you consider necessary. Hello. The force of your willpower can be intense enough to change any situation that you encounter and bring substantial material benefits to people living in limiting circumstances. You have the means to assist people to take charge of their lives in ways that bring about significant growth because you can recognize where they are stuck in old patterns and traditions. That's really good intel if you're interested in being any kind of like mentor, life coach, throughout whatever vein of variation of interest you have. Okay, so paying attention to that. I'm going to read that one once more. You have the means to assist people to take charge of their lives in ways that bring about significant growth because you can recognize where they are stuck in old patterns and traditions. They can't see it. That's why they're stuck. They pay you to see it for them. Your big challenge is this. Can you recognize the difference between a situation that is just annoying you and one that actually needs your direct input to set things right for all concerned? When you can differentiate between those two facts or actualities, you will find the consensus to support the radical changes needed to move yourself and others beyond dysfunctional life circumstances. Being aware of where you play a role in your own suffering is really important for people with this incarnation cross because you can hyperfixate on a problem that's familiar but isn't exactly changing versus finding areas where there actually can be change that's created based on your involvement and your passion and your interest. You have an influence that pulls people together to collaborate with you. You are able to walk into any situation and take charge since you can deal with anything and often anyone foolish enough to resist you. Yeah, exactly. And I think like, what's the path of least resistance for you right now? Like if you were to think about the most exciting way, astrology, interior design, or art that feels exciting for you now, you can do all three. You can paint people's versions of people's natal charts that for artwork that you style for certain hotels in your area. It's called Nebula in New York City. There's a astrology inspired bar, right? You could paint artwork that blends in with the interior design of that bar that's based on astrology, right? So there is still a way to fuse all three. However, your main offering has to be dialed up a little bit higher. So a lot of what I do and what we workshop here a lot is career mentorship, right? I could call myself a career mentor, but human design is something that really is my passion and my purpose. So I help people in career mentoring, but see how my North Star for how you guys know me is really human design. But I do a lot of career and business mentorship here already and content creation. So I could say I want to be a human design reader, a career coach, and a content creator. I do all three of those things. I hold all of those titles, but my main focus or my North Star and how people know what to come to me for is that one thing first. And I'm also a manifesting generator. Excuse me. It's not being afraid to temporarily put all your eggs in one basket because you're not really putting all your eggs in one basket. It's turning the dial up and having better focus on one thing at a time. You're able to do all of those things, but you can do all of those things better if you focus on what thing feels most exciting at this moment of your life. And as a manifesting generator, even though you don't have gate 5, just say from now, June 21st is the first day of summer. From now to the first day of summer, that's what I'm going to allow myself to do. Yeah, that's your gate 48, that gate of inadequacy, that fear of inadequacy. This is what I will tell you. Whatever you do, it's okay to say, I don't know, but I'll find out for you. Whatever it is that you don't know is perfectly fine. If you were to start doing astrology, for example, right, and you wanted to do mini readings and you only really know about sun, moon, and risings, don't offer 10-minute astrology readings for a full chart. Do sun, moon, and rising readings for 10 minutes until you get better at that as you're studying other things in the background, and then amplify it. But it's okay to not have to feel like you have to be perfect at every aspect to be good still at what you do if you focus on the parts that you have down really tightly. Because there is, based on the sum of your experiences, you know, you've lived almost 3 decades of life. There are things that you know more. And there's people that get things. There are people that are on here that have like hundreds of thousands of followers, even, you know, tens of thousands of followers in astrology that are so wrong so loudly, and they still get people that follow them. I think of this as an analogy when it comes to, because we're big hockey people in my house, And so we've been to a couple hockey games recently, and every time we'll be at a home game for the Devils, because in Jersey, that's the local team. Anytime there's a team from the outside, the last game we went to, the other team won. There were barely any jerseys supporting them in those stands. They were getting booed left and right every time they made a goal, but they still won anyway, right? They still got to walk away with that victory. Just because they got booed and people didn't like them at an arena that wasn't theirs. Yeah, Mo, hi, there you go. Doesn't mean that you have to feel badly about doing it. You deserve the ability to take up space. The thing that's not okay is pretending to know things. That's the undefined ajna. And listen, 70%, myself included, has that center undefined. It's okay not to know everything. God forbid you don't know everything, right? How dare you? You think I have all 888 variations of incarnation crosses memorized? I have all the gates memorized. I have all the channels memorized. I don't have all the profile lines for every single channel and gate combines memorized. I don't have all separate 888 nuances. I can give enough of a reading to help people with that, but there's aspects that I forget. I rely on my books. Do you guys see me as being inadequate because I do that? No. Because I'm willing to do what's right to get you the right information. Just because I don't retain it in my noggin doesn't mean that I'm not educated, right? So I also encourage you to focus on that, and that doesn't change the vibe of anything, right? So many people that have so much more audacity than you to be so loud and so wrong in their loudness too. That alone is just like, if we could end it here, right? Like just moving forward in that way. But it's important for you. Like people are going to see you. People know, because you have the left angle cross of confrontation. You have spiciness built into your energy. Like you are naturally somebody that has probably a little bit more, gender aside, like masculine disposition, like that assertiveness or tendencies that we associate with masculine. It's like assertive energy, having an opinion, right? So it's like not letting that steer you wrong. What you're probably picking up on it, where there's other people that are having an opinion, but they're not saying it from a place of kindness. They're not coming from a place of helping people. Where your saving grace of your incarnation cross is that you come from a place of wanting to help people. And it's okay that your subject matter has to do with things that have also helped you, right? What'll be nice after you finish your Saturn return, so you're going through your Saturn return right now. So around like in a couple years, you get to the point where you're a 3-2 profile right now. You evolve into that 6 line after your Saturn return. You're going through your nodal opposition at the moment. Or just ended your nodal opposition. So as you transition closer, you're going to feel more confident every month. And I speak to that from my nodal opposition to my Saturn return. I'm ending my Saturn return. Feeling that way. So the confidence is going to build, but it's a matter of like, you can do all 3 things, but just focus on like, what feels like the most exciting thing that you can do for the next couple months. Maybe as you're practicing astrology and maybe practice going live or something like that, you end up working at an interior design firm for the summer that needs extra help staging apartments or staging homes in a wealthy area, staging mansions, right? Like you get to decide that. And then maybe in your spare time, you like to paint a little bit too. I do a lot of different things like throughout the course of my day, but human design and my business is my main focus, but I still make time. Like once a week we do trivia, right? Because we like trivia. That was a new thing that we started to do together. We like to have fires outside. Like there's other things that I do to like vary my time as a manifesting generator where I still pour into my hobbies. I like to paint. I like to sew. I like style, I like fashion. But I don't feel like I don't put the pressure on myself to monetize every single interest that I have, which can be a big thing that us manifesting generators like to do to ourselves. So that's not always the best course of action. But yeah, so I'll leave you with that for now. And again, this is recorded. It's going on YouTube. It's between tonight and tomorrow so that you guys have access to it to watch again and again. Yeah, could a girl have hobbies? So draining to monetize everything. It's so true. Especially like when you're a competent person and like you are good at many different things. It's like, well, why would I let go on money in this way? And why would I not get money in this way? And it becomes way too varied and destructive. Yeah, absolutely. You're so welcome. I mean, George Bush, like we used to think back when George Bush was president that was the worst that it was going to get. And then it got worse. And then it got worse loudly, right? So, there's a George H.W. Bush, you have the same incarnation cross as him. So that's why I use him as an example. I found out that I was born on the 11th month. Does delayed delivery affect human design chart? No. It's funny because I get that question like maybe once or twice a month. So whenever you were born is when you were born. If you weren't born on your due date, if you were a premature baby, if you were born during a planned C-section, if you were, you know, your mom was 48 weeks pregnant when she had you versus the traditional 38 to 40. It's just when you were born, Because basically it was like if we took a picture of the sky the moment that you entered into the earthbound plane, right? That you arrived here on Earth, from an astronomy perspective, it's what was happening with the planets in the sky, and then how they tether or create an imprint in your soul. So that's where it's helpful to think of things that way too. So yeah. 5 more minutes and then I'm going to hop off. See if you guys have any other questions that you want to ask me in the last 5 minutes we have together. I'm going to go live at some point in the afternoon tomorrow to do a co-working session. So I won't do live readings during that time, but if you guys want to hop on live with me here, I can answer some questions, and that also will be recorded and put on YouTube. And then I'll be live again on Wednesday at 7:30 over on YouTube. If you guys don't subscribe to me there already, please do, to grow that channel and to grow that space there, because we're a smaller community. If you guys comment over there too, it's easier for me to prioritize making videos for you so that they don't get lost in the shuffle like they do on this platform. So I say that as a benefit to those of you who are listening to me at 10 o'clock at night, the 8 of you that are here, to thank you for that. I'm happy to prioritize, and I don't take that lightly. I'm trying to unhide your thing, Yoni. Who was more dominant, a person with gate 28 or one with 38? I mean, I think it's like fighting fire with fire, although it's considered fighting fire with earth. I think that based on one gate alone, I can't give enough of a description, because like if you have gate 28, but that's your only Scorpio gate placement, and then we have somebody with gate 38, that's the gate of the fighter, and they have like 10 planets in Capricorn, right? Like that's going to change things. So it's like stelliums and aspects versus like just one aspect, right? So I will say this, gate 28 is better at playing like mind games, where gate 38 will like literally fight you. And then sometimes if gate 28 people are more like push, they will also fight you. And then if gate 38 knows that they have to play a longer game, they'll play mind games. But it just depends on the person and like how they find that balance. Because together you do create the channel of struggle. So there is kind of like a we fight and we argue, and then but the makeup is really good, right? The makeup is really good after that. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yes. There you go. Oh, Moonflower Mystic. Okay, I just saw you booked. Thank you. I'll pull up your chart now. Yeah, so paying attention to that. And how that you play into that dynamic is important. Because again, it's nature versus nurture. But if there's been a person that has any of those channels and they've been conditioned to be more submissive in their life for whatever reason, and they follow that and are acting out of alignment, then I can't say for certain that a gate 28 person is going to enact on those placements in that exact way, right? So that's also important. Like, it's important data. And I know as a projector, hi, Toby. How are you? How are you? I hope your daughter's prom was beautiful. She looked gorgeous. Toby's another beautiful reflector that's in our crew here, a talented psychic medium. I'll always sing her praises because she doesn't like to brag on herself, but I will. Hello, thank you. Yeah, I'm good. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm just pulling up Yassa's chart now here. Or Yssa or Yassa? Aw, yeah. And yeah, she has 28, but she was submissive, so she tried to make me bend, but my your 38 is like absolutely not. Yssa, okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yssa, that's so beautiful. I love that. I love names when they start with Y because they're so unique. Like I don't know. I love that. Operated and did things told that I have to take the lead. Yes, that transition is intense. And it's also like the first year of my relationship with my fiance, you're welcome. The first year of my relationship with my fiance, and I'll say this before we pivot over into Yssa, was us just getting to know each other actually, right? And it was draining. Like there was a lot of things that like we were very independent people, but we knew that we really liked each other. That evolved into love. But like we argued a lot our first year together. Like it wasn't all like sunshines and roses like you would think. Like that honeymoon period, it's always still there, but because of who we are as people. But like we definitely, like our first year, like that was probably our challenging year out of the 4 years we've been together. So, you know, not every relationship is like, it's learning where you want to be willing to compromise and following that. I think the book should still be open, I think, for another half hour. So I'll still stay on. I have the energy, Mo. Let me know, and if not, I'll open spaces for you. But for Yssa to pivot over, so what are some ways to work on believing in myself? I mean, I think a couple things can be at play. I think also, okay, I'll fix it in a second. A couple things can be at play. Looking at, are you sleeping on yourself because your nervous system is stressed out and you feel like you are preemptively exhausted and afraid to take on the extra work? And or are you afraid of like what other people are going to say? And so again, what I say again, not in a dismissive way, but something that I'm going to repeat that I've said a couple times tonight is finding out a way, like how you're sleeping on yourself or how you feel nervous, right? Because also that gate of inadequacy has been something that has picked up a lot today, gate 48, can be different. If you being Moonflower Mystic, and like I forget what we were talking about, that was going to be something that, like an offering that you created. I feel like we had, if I'm not mistaken, it was something like digital we were talking about the last time we spoke. I think that was you. Thank you, Ellington. That's so cute. I love you. Oh yes, the lock screen mood boards. Thank you. Yes, I was like, there was some digital thing. Like, there's still time to do that, right? I'm not going to yell at you or think of you differently because it was more sustainable for you to create that at this time in your life, right? But remember that these things are supposed to be fun, right? Like, it's a quick sell or something that's quick and fun that like you get to do, that like you're not perceived, you're not on screen, you don't have to be seen if you don't want to, and maybe you do the practice. What I was saying earlier is like I'll take like, here, I'll do like my matches and my Florida water, like say like, you know, your mystic thing was like you're reading tarot. You don't even have to see me, your whole screen, right? Like when you're doing content or when you're doing any kind of promotion can just be this, and then people hearing your voice. Because then when you're not doing is obsessing over what you look like, which is what we do too much of anyway, especially those of us who are online. I gave up on that a long time ago. I'm aware of it, but I'm not like hypercritical about myself, right? Easier said than done, right? That wasn't a snapping overnight. But for you, it can be like just learning what feels sustainable for your nervous system, right? And so what feels like it's going to be a good opening to the next thing that you want to be doing. So I say that to kind of instill some ideas or abilities for you to consider, like, okay, let me see, hold on. Do this. Hold on. Sorry, I just want to make sure I do this before I forget. What feels like it's something like an exciting way for you to showcase your gifts and talents in the world? Like what feels like it's something that's going to be worthwhile for your time, that's going to take less energy, and that's going to alleviate the nerves. Like I would write down, because you know I'm big on this, like you guys that are here with me for a while, on a problem written down is a problem half solved. Especially for gate of inadequacy, this is what's going to help. On one sheet of paper, on the front page, write down all the things that are making you nervous or why you've been sleeping on yourself. Like why you are lacking like that. For me, intuitively, what I get from you is that there's something about it that's not even just like you don't believe in yourself, but it's like a safety issue. And honestly, you're a 5'1", so that makes a lot of sense. But like, it feels like if I do this or I show up, like someone's gonna, like I'm gonna have some like attempt on my life. Like it's like the president speaking. And there was this movie a long time ago, my grandma and I used to watch, called First Shot. And it was like an attempt, I'll say, right? But it's like that fear of like, if I do this, then like, my world is gonna end, like something bad's gonna happen to me, right? So that's valid. I don't say that to diminish your fears. Mo, there should be spots open. Just double check for me. But you should be good to go now. But how you feel fearful, right? And then write all of those things down to just get it out and onto paper versus it swirling around in your head and creating that analysis paralysis and procrastination. And then if it's something like, okay, you want to start small, like something, you're welcome, something like little that feels little to you, it's better than doing nothing. I would rather you achieve something like at 25% or 10% capacity, even 2% capacity, because it's still better than zero, to give yourself the ability to flex the muscle of knowing that it's possible and knowing that it's something that you can be doing, right? Or should be doing to put yourself out there. And it depends too. Like I'm assuming because the last time we spoke that this is about like work-wise, like believing in yourself. And it's like, again, there are so many people who are so wrong so loudly, like so have the audacity and like half the skill set, right? But like they're getting more attention because you're afraid to take up space in your corner of the world. And again, we're all born on earth. We all deserve a seat at some table, right? Like whatever we want that table to be, we just want to make sure that we're walking into the right restaurant. Where do I want to be seen? Where am I appreciated? Where am I recognized? And that extends beyond just being projectors. That's just like knowing thyself and knowing where you want to be around people that appreciate you, right? So for you, I would say just like what's a little thing that you can incorporate? It's like exposure therapy, like breaking down the task. If it's creating like, let's say like with some ways on working on believing in yourself, right? It's like creating the action that's associated with the thought. You can say all the mantras, listen to all the subliminals. Those are very helpful, right? Like fueling your head with as much good information and data and noise as possible. That's a good beneficial lyrics to songs. That is definitely helpful, but like it has to be followed through by some sort of action that takes you and integrates it with like your physical body, knowing that it's safe, that you're capable of doing this thing and like your world's not going to implode, right? So if it's creating the mood boards, for example, just start off by making one for a friend, or maybe just making one for yourself, right? Like for the month ahead. And maybe you make it where like, every month you send the mood lock screen mood boards to somebody, to practice, and then they can write a little testimonial for you. And it's like $5 a month. You can make one every month for somebody if they want to keep ordering, or if excuse me, I was gonna do the math. What's what's five times 12? 75? No, I'm so bad at math. Mental math. 12 times 60. So say like if they want to buy a bundle for the year and you make all their lock screens for the year, they get it for $40 or $50 instead of 60 if they pay $5, right? Like you could do something kind of like simple to just break it down. You're also in your nodal opposition. So there's some tender areas of like, or ending, like leaving your nodal opposition, just finish and going into your Saturn return. So it's that, two things happening simultaneously where it's just kind of feeling raw at this point in your life, but just like honestly coming to the mindset of like, if I were, yeah, absolutely. I mean, these 2 years they're so transformative, and like the best way where like you come out the other side just feeling like you know who you are, you know what you want, you're more confident in it, you care less about what people think. It just doesn't matter because like other people get distracted with other things, Mo, were you looking at the Patreon one, and is it should be for, let's see, why did it not, hold on. Let me see if I edit it again. Okay, try to refresh it now and see if it worked. Thank you, Yssa. I appreciate your patience. Let me know. But yeah, it's like your incarnation cross left and go cross with the clarion too means that you're to be a messenger of something. So it could literally be like having it be more on the nose. Maybe you make like inspirational lock screens for like a woman's empowerment group or something like that, or I don't know, like just something fun where like you create these custom lock screens and donate them digitally to like a woman's shelter, you know, for like women who are like young with children and like need assistance in some way, or, you know, how to get out an escape route. Like maybe it's an area where, also like your 6217 channel, really having a heart for animals and like the underserved and like the underprivileged in some way. So that's also data to kind of think about like how you can feel like a little bit more fulfilled at this moment. And yeah, and it's like, why not you, right? I said that, I used to say that a lot, even more so last year, but like, why not you? Why can't you do it too? You know, like you have a good heart, you have good intentions, you know, you want to go after what's yours. So like, why can everyone else have the audacity, but not you, you know? And getting more serious about that for yourself, where it's like, you're Capricorn Jupiter. So the more you focus on like being disciplined about what is good for you and exciting for you, the more you build that ability to have like that self-trust that like you know that you're okay. Like, you know that you've got you at the end of the day, more importantly, and can grow in that confidence. So, again, starting small. Yeah, exactly. Like, why can't you do it too? Every time you can go back and listen to this recording again, because it's on YouTube. I can't remember if I've said that since you've been here. It'll be on YouTube tonight, tomorrow. But you know, listen to this every time you need a little bit of a boost, right? Because it's like, there's no reason not to. Like, you're mean to tell me that there's no way that you can there's no room for you on Etsy or wherever to make lock screen mood boards, right? You're not even influencing anyone. You're not taking anyone's power away. You're just claiming your spot. You're not bumping anyone else out of the way, right? If you're so happen to be better than somebody else because you put more effort and care into it, and that you whole-assed one thing and they half-assed something, that's on them and the work that they didn't do. That's not your problem. But you can't make yourself feel bad or make yourself feel small for the work that other people aren't willing to put into their life. And a lot of people will make you feel like there's something wrong with you for not doing that. But it's not. Their inability to rise to the occasion is not your problem. You can only be responsible for the things that you can control, which is your energy, your time, your resources, what you pay attention to. I have the feeling intuitively that you're also like a listener for people. So a lot of people like taking up a lot of airtime in your ear and your valuable time, that you're like, I just want to paint. I just want to deal with my art. I just want to be creative. I just want to be mystical. I want to be whimsical. I want to make my whimsical crafts. Like, leave me alone. Right. And like, you have that capacity to be like, hold space for people and chat with other people. But like, where is that? If you don't want to be known as a therapist or a mentor or a life coach, then like, where is that too draining on your spirit? And like, ultimately, a lot of things and ways that I had to teach people in my life to not abuse that part of our relationship. Because I realized that when they would vent to me and they said that they were going to do something, them venting to me was them temporarily alleviating themselves of the pressure or the burden of that problem. And then instead of using that energy or of relief to say, okay, my nervous system is more aligned to be able to make changes now, they would just continue the bad habits and then not make any changes again moving forward. So it became like this cycle of like people coming to me because they know I can make them feel better and it feels good to be in my energy, but not actually wanting to make changes and do things like on their own. Right. So like that is like, especially with my Libras, my sweet Libras, and 5/1s, because there's a 5/1 profile too. You guys don't always like to talk about yourselves. So it can also be like, but then when you need somebody to rely on, people like all of a sudden they're deaf, you know, or like they can't be bothered to listen to you. So I know a lot of you can relate. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You're like, wait, my energy, I'm not going to be on this earth forever. That was a big thing. Like, I was very aware of, mortality during my nodal opposition and my Saturn return, where I was like, I'm going to die one day. Like, I'm not going to waste it listening to your problems. I'm going to use them solving mine. And if me solving my problem is wanting to do human design readings and then it helps other people, that's what makes me feel good. But like, if I didn't enjoy talking about human design, I wouldn't be here. But I enjoy, genuinely, it's my passion to teach people, to share this knowledge with people, to help you use it in a way that actually is life-changing for you and helps you to move a step forward. I may not be able to move, complete all the games of life for you, but I can serve my purpose in giving you the next, tools that you need to move forward one more chip further on the board, right? Or one more square, or whatever it is in Monopoly in the game of life. But, again, not sleeping on yourself is really important. I have a feeling, since Mo is typing away and answering, and then she'll be my last reading of the evening, I believe. So I think I opened my books a little bit later if anyone does want to sneak in for a last minute one. But we'll read for Mo at the moment, and she may close us out. But if anyone else wants to, please do that. Yeah. And again, give yourself the grace. Like, at 27 was when I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired of sleeping on myself. And I, in 2021, I had so many people that were telling me, like, go on live on TikTok and go on live and do that in TikTok. And I didn't because I wasn't ready. But I started posting on TikTok at least. And then I built it up, and, you still have to wait for 1,000 followers. And then I got 1,000 followers in 2022. But I still didn't go live for like another year, because that's when we were buying the house and moving into our house and moving states. So like I was leaving the New Jersey where I lived for most of my life. So it was like a lot of change. And like my gate 5 was like, I need to incorporate that. Yay. Okay, good. Yay. Paying attention to that. Okay. So beautiful Mo, let me read here. How can I create content that invites recognition rather than chasing views or trying to prove my worth? I've been wanting to transition over YouTube, but wanting to try to build consistency with lives first before getting scared and start doubting myself and went back to readings. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a variation in your content that needs to be quicker. That's the energy that I've been getting on your page, because it's like, I can feel how exhausted you are because I know you. So it's like, I don't say that we're like, not everyone would know that, and you do, but like, and rightfully so, because like you're doing a lot for a projector at this point in time in your life. But I think there's like, okay, I'm doing this because it's fun for me and I want to be talking about these things. What can I do to kind of like put a little more like pep, like a little bit more like zest in the juice here? Like, how can I make this a little bit more exciting? I would also cut out the intro, create more of a hook first, and then introduce yourself second to that, right? So we have the introduction, the hook of the subject matter, and then who you are. I don't say, hey, I'm Brenna. I'm a human design reader of 9 years and an astrologer. If you're struggling to figure out your life purpose, here's how looking at your incarnation cross can help in human design. That's my hook, right? I don't start with that. I say, if you're struggling to figure out your life purpose, here's how looking at your incarnation cross in human design can help you. Can you tell that I've said that once or twice before? Probably over 100 videos, probably 500 videos, or that I've used that line since I've been on TikTok the last 3 years specifically. So I would work on your hooks, even looking at different people who have hooks online. There's a lot of people that are doing content creation or growth strategy. There's a girl, I don't remember her name. She has half orange hair. She does a lot of hooks for your videos. I need to take a sip of water because I realized I literally have not taken a sip of water this whole live. I was like, why is my voice dry? Maybe that's why. So working on your hooks, also from a content creation perspective, I think the pace needs to change. So you're consistent in the content itself. That's great. But there needs to be some more excitement, and to remind yourself, what about this is fun for you as Mo, right? Do you want to be known as a teacher and educating people about what the cards mean and then how to interpret the cards if you were to do tarot, for example? Or do you want to be known as somebody more so who delivers messages from the other side? It can be both, but I think it would be helpful for you to create some sort of series that incorporates more excitement. So whatever your, I really like Julia Bloom. She's also a 1-3 in human design. Julia Bloom or Broom. And she talks about signature series as well. So it's funny because a lot of the stuff is from 1-1-3 to another I was already doing and I didn't even realize it just because it was my ingrained 1-3 knowledge. But she's a good person that talks about content creation in general that I would also follow because she's young. She's on the pulse of trends and things like that. I like her Instagram. I don't know if she's on, I think she's on YouTube. Excuse me. I don't know if she's on TikTok. I don't follow her on TikTok, but I follow her on Instagram. So paying attention to that, right? She would be a good person to follow. And again, focus on what's sustainable. If you feel like you're I need a break and I need this to be exciting again, and YouTube is what's more exciting, then pivot to YouTube. Don't question what your emo authority. Oh, I realize it didn't even change. I'm I have your chart so ingrained in my head now, because obviously you're in our Patreon, that I was thinking of your emotional centers already. Let me bring up your chart. Sorry about that. Thank you, Yssa, as well. I appreciate it. I know I have it in the folder, but let me see. Remember if I updated, maybe I was just using that. Yeah, hold on. Hold on, I have to X out. Here, nope. Nope, that's not what I want to do. Why are you doing that? Stand by, sorry. I'm distracting myself. I'm like, now I have to get it right. Okay, there you go. Yeah, you said projector, I said sacral is closed. Yes, exactly. Right, like what energy? Yeah, it's so true. Well, that's where it's like you have to think about how to make it easier, because if you're pushing yourself to make content when you're exhausted as a projector, that exhaustion is going to leak into it. Right, where I'm like, it feels like there needs to be some sort of newness infused into what you're doing, Mo, to make sure that it's helpful. Like, make sure you have a little bit more of that zip there, and it's actually helpful to you and other people. Because I feel like there's not enough of a clear, like, I think scrapping a ton of offerings and just focus on one thing that you want to highlight is important. And like, from the place of like views don't even matter. It's like, who are the people that are actually engaging on your content? And like, I would ask questions that aren't just like the last one you did it as an example, like not just like what, drop an emoji. I would be like, ask me a question and then like, for a free tip or something. And if you want engagement in the comments, like that's what I do. I got like, if my last video I posted, I set a timer. Or I set like a goal. And if I have a video where it's like I have people that are responding in real time, because I look at the metrics for when your people are on. So there's a couple times a day that my people are on at their peak. And so I pick a peak time to post that's most convenient for me and my schedule, that also meets my people where they're at. And then I comment back to their comments. And then if I get no comments on a newer video at that time, I go back and answer or save old comments in TikTok that I want to make video responses to, or I'll still answer people months later. Like, there's somebody there that you missed or like didn't, create. If somebody commented in general, you can also use that as an open invitation to create engagement where you ask them a question back. So don't feel like that has to be like lost on you in any way. Where it's like, oh, it's been 3 months or 3 years, I didn't respond to them. Fuck it. Give yourself a chance to respond to them now. Why not? Right? Allow yourself to do that. I think it's like knowing I'm still here. Yeah, that your consistency is lives, right? So even if you post like every other day, every couple days, that's fine too, right? Like having that balance and that flow. I think figuring out like when I see your content now, the vibe that I get is just sharing and providing free readings for people. Bye, Toby. Good night. Sleep well. Sweet dreams. It's almost like part of the passion is missing, and I don't feel like I am able to answer that question as to why that's happening for you. I think that's you like looking within and figuring out like the passion's there, but maybe it's like you just need to take a break for a week from posting at all and just like sleep on it, rest, relax, and then get back to it. Or if that feels like, oh, I definitely don't want to do that, then like, again, what's a new series where you can like totally change the style of content that you've been doing and make it fun in a different way. But there feels like there needs to be a bigger switch up. Yeah, and for you, Leo Mars also transiting your 7th house. It's like, what feels more exciting and fiery and zesty? I don't know why I keep saying zesty. I don't know if that means anything, but like how it feels that you can engage people again, right? Or because it comes from a place of you being excited. If, Halsey got halfway through an album, and so I'm going to ask you a question. Are you still in the group of He Who Shall Not Be Named, learning astrology from him? I'm not going to say anything else until you answer. I'm gonna get up and close my door. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yes, I am, but I've been too insecure with my knowledge to interact with the group. I'm going to say something very candid right now and very blunt. If you stay there in that environment, in my heart of hearts, you're going to be somebody that ends up on a Netflix documentary in 5 years for people in the spiritual community who have taken advantage of people that are young women that feel inferior. Staying in that group. And I don't understand. I think that I don't really understand why you were attracted to working with him. This is like somebody in the astrology. This is astrology chisme in the astrology community that I have had him blocked from the beginning. I don't like his energy. I don't trust his energy. I think that we've heard enough white men yap that, especially as like a young Black woman, that would not be my first place to learn astrology from for you to feel empowered. Right? Knowing the traits that he presents. I don't say that phrase lightly at all, right? But I'm just going to be straight up with you about that, because his whole entire business model is based on making people feel insecure. So if you as a projector are going to be in an environment where people want you to feel small and feel insecure because he has this idea about how a white man is taking astrology and saying that he's the only one that knows how to read it, girl, that's the type of person that you want to learn from, right? I feel like with me and him, it's like, what wolf do you want to feed? Fighting for two different sides of your energy, right? No wonder you feel insecure. He likes to make people feel small. You know, at this point, it's like, bro, just whip it out. And if you want to show us how big it is, like, come on, right? So it's like, if you are in an environment that makes you feel uncomfortable learning, because it's supposed to be a place of education where you're supposed to fuck up and make mistakes and the teacher is supposed to correct you, that's information, right? That's data. So my intuition was like, you got the get out of jail free card. Use it, right? Sneak out the back door. I feel all dumb because it feels like there's so much I don't know, and my Aries third house with my Mars. Yeah, and is it because, is it because of the people that you're surrounding yourself with? Again, as a projector, your environment is important. If there are people that you're around, I do not come to the level. I want people to practice what they know, but at least if you don't know something, again, what I said earlier, rely on your resources. What I said to Sav, rely on your book. There's so much that you do know. You don't owe him anything of worshiping at the feet of what you've learned, right? I'll teach people how to read human design charts, but I probably won't call it a certification. Or if the word certification is there, it's going to have very specific vocabulary as to understanding why I called it that. I don't come from it at a place of ego as I decree thee worthy of teaching human design. Exactly. And it's like, again, what I had said to Sav earlier, if she was saying, but she was between astrology, interior design, and art. You can do all three at the same time, but if she doesn't know, if she doesn't know about grand crosses, sextiles, oppositions, focus on what you at least know. I know that you know sun, moon, and rising sign info. Like, that's enough to just share what you know about those subjects, right? I don't even know. There's still things I'm learning about astrology. I learned human design before I learned astrology. I'm a 1-3, but I know enough about astrology. I also know that, like, basic astronomy. So, like, if you got basic astronomy down, you already know more than 50% of the astrologers that are on this app right now. They'll ask somebody a question. It'll be like, is my Mercury opposing my sun. What's the first planet that comes after the sun? It's Mercury. Mercury cannot be opposite that in your chart, right? Things like that. So I like the depth that he goes in, but I think I might just say, yeah, because I just feel like a broken clock is still right 2 times a day, right? So it's like, why are you, I think that what you like about him is that he gets the attention and the recognition that you also want, but because he's a fucking asshole. You don't want to be known, like, bad press is not good press. So that's not what you want, Mo. That's not what you're going to find sustainable for your placements either. You're an Aquarius. You're not a Leo, right? Although there's Leo aspects there, the 7th house, but like, that's not going to be, yeah. Like, I don't want to be, if somebody wants to grow their business on evil and vitriol and making people feel inferior and bad, like, if you want to sell me that dream, you're in the wrong fucking Zoom right now. Like, this is not the live for you. I'm not the person for you. I make that very clear about what I stand for. So like, we're not doing that. Right. But I believe in educating people and being strict about education, but like, we don't need that level of rudeness and condescension to make people feel like, well, I'll stay here and I'll pay attention to you. And because you're somewhat conventionally handsome, or you must know what you're saying, or it feels right. Like, it feels like, it's like, why are we pandering to that behavior? Right. And I'm like, yeah, there can be depth, but again, a broken clock is still right 2 times a day. So for me, it's like, if you've been in there for so long and it's been like, what, at least 6 months, probably a year now, and like, you're still not feeling confident enough to post astrology content, even though you do know enough, like, it's just the room that you're in, right? Yeah. It's the room that you're in. It's not that you don't know anything. And like, why? Because you're afraid that he or somebody that is in a part of your group there that you know is going to see you and try to correct you in the comments, because you're all competing against one another in that space for who is the one that he deems the most worthy, you know? Like, girl, what? Yeah. Is anyone here, any of the 6 fucking people that are here, if you went and any of you talked about human design, all of my fucking people are going to run to your comments and hype you the fuck up. Because I don't create an environment where people go and attack one another. Why are we talking about astrology that is supposed to make people feel better and making other people that are trying to do good in the world feel like garbage because you say that they didn't say degree or use the word fucking decan in the right way, right? Like, come on. That gets me so mad, because I'm like, that is the exact opposite. I literally had it happen twice with 2 astrologers that had a big following that got territorial because my Saturn video blew up, and they said 2 things in the video that were like trying to make it sound like they knew more than me, when I was like, no, it's clear what's happening here. I made sure to answer them. Of course, there's no answer back, right? I don't need to name any names because you guys probably don't follow them anyway. Like, it's like that kind of like, I'll put people in their place and tell people, you know, if you push, I will shove back. I'm not going to lay down and let things happen. If you are actively using your platform and your astrology, human design, anything like that to spread anything less than unity, right? That is not okay. An apology for wrong behavior goes a long way. If anyone that you're learning from, if any of those people want to say, you know what, I fucked up, I respect that. That takes a lot of balls, right? That takes courage to do that. To say, like, this is the wrong way. I was wrong in the way that I did that. That I would respect. Have we not learned from history up until this point that, like, being loud and narcissistic and growing really fast based on being condescending, how has that worked out long term for anybody in the world? Point me to a place where that actually has worked out well for people in the long term, and it didn't show up somewhere on their face or in their energy, or they didn't crash and burn just as fast as they rose, you know? So I feel like what helps with that understanding is understanding you can always learn more or see it from multiple perspectives. Like, 2 things can be true. It's true, right? Like, if there's elements that you like of him, clearly you do. I'm not going to change your mind on that. You haven't left. You know how I feel about him. But I also, like, you've come to me for advice. I'm a mentor to you in the lens of Patreon and here. So, like, I'm going to just give it to you straight. I'm not going to be like, you know, there are things that he has said that to me are unforgivable, that like completely cross my boundaries and my values. So like, I was like, goodbye. Like, this doesn't even deserve airtime. I don't even like to mention it because it's not even worth it. But in this circumstance, I think that I would be remiss not to bring that to your attention and say, hey, some fuck shit is happening here. And like, it shouldn't be, because there's no reason that you should still feel insecure, or we should even be having this conversation about you feeling embarrassed or nervous that someone's going to call you out on what you don't know. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, especially on the internet. When you walk through Times Square and you have 9 people dressed like Elmo that come up to you, do you acknowledge them? Treat your comment section the same way. And if you want to delete comments, delete comments. You don't have to leave them there on your video if they make you uncomfortable. If you want to leave them there, fine. You know, if you want to engage with them, fine. You get to choose that. But don't let the fear of something that may or may not even happen stop you from being where you're supposed to be. If I want to walk through Times Square, Elmo isn't going to stop me. I don't care who's in that goddamn costume, right? Like, it's a funny way to say it, but it's true. The internet is like walking through the busiest crowded street and wherever you live, and like what you expect that you're going to pay attention to everybody. You don't owe every random person that comments and let me know. I started with the mask on sunscreen at all when I visited. I know. It's so true. It's so true. And it's like, listen, they're like, vibes are weird there. Someone pinched my butt in Times Square in one of those costumes. I think it was a Cookie Monster one. Yeah, that was interesting. I was like 18. I was like, oh, yeah, not my spot. But yeah, so, you know, I just, again, sleeping on yourself, wasting energy, feeling like you still have to prove something. I think that, you know, you deserve the recognition. Don't be arrogant about it. Don't be pompous about it. It's okay to be confident in yourself, but like, you know, there's finesse that you can have, but I definitely can see how there's been some infiltration in the arrogance department. In that wanting to be recognized so badly that you'll take any recognition, or like none at all. It's like, again, a self-fulfilling prophecy. So like, yeah, figure if you only know about sun signs, post a series about sun signs, right? If you only know about rising signs, focus on what you know. And when somebody asks you a question, it's data that it's like, okay, the universe is gifting me this person. Maybe this is teaching me the next thing that I have to learn to feel confident in sharing it with somebody else. And operate from that. But it's okay. Undefined ajna, we're not going to remember everything. We like to know so many different things. So don't stress yourself out. Aries, 3rd house, and Gemini, Saturn need a little hand holding while learning. Listen, you and I are both Aquarius risings. I'm an Aries 3rd house too, right? So yeah, I need that. Like not even hand holding, but like I know my resources to go to that I have at my disposal where I can educate myself more. People, places, and things, right? Books. I'm referencing my books under my desk here. But like you and I have the same setup, right? My Saturn's in Pisces, right? Not Gemini. But, you know, I have a Virgo Chiron. So that's also being ruled by Mercury, communication. Yeah. I know I'm getting triggered when I don't know something. Then I'm like, wait, huh? What? But too embarrassed to say. Yeah, Michaela just asked me before, do you use ARCs at all? No, I don't. That's it. Right? But it's like internalizing it is like, oh, I don't know arcs. Should I know arcs? Like, that's a part I don't really look at. I don't focus on the things that I don't know because I'm just aware that I don't know everything. But I don't hyper focus on like, oh my God, Michaela's never going to come back and she's going to fucking hate me because I don't use arcs, right? Like, because inside, I know it sounds so funny to say it out loud, but I know because in times that I felt like that in times past, like that's how it feels in the inside. But it's not that's like, see how when we say it out loud, it doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. Speak up for yourself regardless, Queen. Exactly. I second that motion. What is it? The gavel on the wood. Yeah. That like, yeah. Thank you for that perspective, Nini. Yes. The gavel and court adjourned, right? So, you know, it's really not worth it. You know, how many people don't agree with our current administration right now and our president? He's still up there yapping away, right? And you're afraid to hold the space in your corner of the internet, and that one person is president of the United States. Yapping away, right? Like that alone should make any of you here that have been like afraid of sleeping on yourself or communicating and having one person say something bad, you know, heavy on the yapping. Exactly. Like you're saying something of substance and you genuinely want better for people. So it's like you are only making it, you know, less people able to access you by hiding. And again, practice what you know. If you want to do suggested donation, for readings instead of having a price. If you want to create a price, but maybe you only have 3 spots per night because that's what you can handle on a live for bandwidth. Don't think of it in terms of like how many dollars or views or people, but like how much time you're allowing yourself to showcase your gifts and create that sustainability and knowing that it's possible. And start with astrology. Then that just tells me that it's like you're bored with tarot. You should be doing astrology in your content right now. So that's in and of itself. And you're only going to still continue to stay tired if you're not listening to the desires that are actually on your heart that the universe is putting there. You're only wasting your energy trying to be like, yeah, but I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it, even though I know it's exactly this way. Right. And it's hard to pivot when we've been doing something for so long, but it's important. Yeah, I let my Mars and Aries handle them. Yes, exactly. Like, it doesn't matter. It's like the people, like again, in the words of Garcelle, I don't have to embarrass you. You can embarrass yourself all on your own. Right. I don't go here yapping about every person in the astrology and human design community that I see saying things wrong. If you see, this is great content for a projector or anybody in general. Instead of writing a comment on somebody's video, correcting the behavior, especially as a projector, make a video stating what you know to be true. So say somebody said something like, I don't know, I'm going to say something silly. Like the sky is what's a color that the sky can't be? I don't know. The sky is like magenta, right? Even though someone's gonna be magenta, but work with me here, right? The sky is magenta. I messed up my own analogy. I started reading your comments and my brain is starting to shut down because I'm on later than I usually am. But it's like, the sky is magenta. You know that the sky is blue. Instead of commenting, the sky isn't magenta. This is why all the reasons that the sky are blue. Can't you see that you're wrong? Make content about how you know that the sky is blue. Why are you wasting your time in that person's comment section and giving the engagement where you can make a video that's showing you're an expert in your field and then people are paying attention to that? That's where your time should be going, not hiding as, trolling in the comments. Exactly. I always say that for projectors, the content correction creation. I'm not going to be in your comments and engage with you if you're wrong. I'll make a piece of content about it because I know that I'm right? Whatever you think about it, for whatever it is that you want to say or share your perspective, it's worth it. I used to do that in my younger years and then hit dog will holla. Yes. And the hit dog will holla. Yes, exactly. It's so true. Right, a fresh start series, it's time. I'm gonna launch something at solstice. Yay, Dana! I'm so excited for you, especially the beautiful orange. I'm a 3-5 and I've been practicing the suggestion you gave to Mo is good. Time for something new. Yeah, it's like, again, remember, the thing that I've been channeling and thinking about all day today is that remember that this is supposed to be fun. Remember that this is supposed to be fun. If somebody doesn't make you feel like it's fun, if people are taking away your energy and making you feel like it's not fun, then you have to focus on the people that make you feel like it's fun. And you know that you have fun with them and you have fun, whether it's in the internet, online, in person. You have Dana, you have me, you have Mo. There's 4 of us right here. Anna, who's here, not here tonight, but Anna, who's usually here, right? Focus on making it fun. And that's what it has to come from a place of. If astrology is fun, the fun has to, and being fun, hi Shayla, the fun has to trump the fear. So paying attention to that. And it's like, again, confidence, it takes time to grow that, to flex that muscle. But if I don't want to talk about it, like right now, I've had a lot of people that are not a lot of people, but a couple people that have asked me about digestion. I just don't feel like making a digestion series right now. I have other content on it. There's other resources out there. I'm still going to focus on my gate series and my incarnation crosses and my degree series because that's what's fun for me right now. I'm still giving good data. I'm still giving good information, but I'm not going to constantly pivot every single offering that I have if only one person asks the question. Sometimes I do if it makes sense for the flow of things, but like if somebody were to have me talk or wanted me to make a whole series about my time in artist management and I'm not in my life of doing that right now, that's not where my time is going, right? So that's that line is important. Fun is so hard when you're scared of the naysayers being right. Yeah. And it's like naysayers being right. Like naysayers say nay because they just want to be heard saying something. Like, again, they just like to yap. They don't really give a fuck. Everyone's wrong in their eyes. No one's ever going to be right because they don't want anyone to ever be right. So everyone's going to be wrong. People that are educated, that are actually coming at it from a place of kindness, that know what they're talking about, that are emotionally intelligent individuals, are not people who are doing better than you. Don't comment shit on your video trying to correct you. No one that has ever commented on one of my videos saying, well, sidereal is the only accurate astrology, that person's not doing well. Because if that person was doing well, they wouldn't have the time to comment. They would be making content. So I'm not worried about somebody that, exactly, exactly, emotionally intelligent. I don't take opinions from people, exactly, who are probably the effing narcs, probably the people that make content about not being narcs or being victims of narcs. And then, you know, it's like you leave early enough to remain a hero or stay long enough to become the villain. They've stayed long enough to become the villain. So what's the point? I don't care about listening to people that are saying things like that. No, again, nobody that has been doing well in life, at least at that moment, even if the outward veneer looks like they're doing well, if they're spending the time commenting and doing things like that, you know, they're not in a good spot. And especially there's a lot of people that are attracted to astrology more because it's more accessible in terms of free resources and just resources out there for a long time. It's more societally known than human design, but attracts a lot of people that try to spiritually bypass, like sometimes just needing therapy and maybe the occasional medication, right? I never am somebody that's going to be like, oh, well, the reason you don't have bipolar, it's only this, you know, because you have these placements in your chart. Like, I don't do that, right? Like, I've seen untreated mental illness and have had it very close to me and my family. And there's a lot of people that, usually the people that, you know, say something along those lines, you can read the room. You're a projector. Again, you're emotionally intelligent. You can see into people. You can see motivations. Even if you don't know exactly why you feel off around them, you know, in that kind of comment, paying attention to that, it's important. Yeah, reasons I took my time and still am because, girl, I cannot run away from the reality of understanding. Yes, exactly. Exactly. It's so true. Yeah. I mean, so many it's a lot of people are attracted to using astrology as a band-aid for a bullet hole that is mental illness, and then people end up in spiritual psychosis. And I saw somewhere, I want to say it was on Reddit actually, that was like, I want people to be aware of this woman that she had like 100 and something thousand followers, and like I saw from her page right away that woman herself was unwell. And then somebody like got into her inner circle, and then basically she like used them for like free labor. And I was like, take a step back and look at where you played a role in your own suffering. Because I saw that red flag is so obvious in that person that, like, of course they were doing that. They have like 100,000 followers, but their videos only get like 300 views. So that tells me they bought followers. Like, if your views are that low, or they had one video that did really well in like 2020 and then never were there again. Like, just really use your discernment. It's so important. My family hates me right now because I keep asking all the questions I ignored before. Yeah, where you're like, I want to be informed now. Like, now I want to know. The frontal lobe has developed. I need to know why all these things happened. Why are these happening? Like, why are these things happening? Oh, that's what that looks like. That's what that feels like. That's what I sense that to be. You know? Yeah. I can relate to that too. But yeah. I'm gonna 2 minutes and then I'm gonna wrap up so I can process the video here. Yeah, I was surrounded by so many people in spiritual psychosis, and it was so saddening because I want help. Yeah. Yes, I think you can use it to predict it, and even episodes with transits, but I always say I'm not a pro. And it's not even like, it's not that you're not a pro, it's just that you don't want to. I've experienced psychosis. Thank you for sharing that, and I'm sorry to hear that. My brother as well. Yeah, it's not fun. It's scary to watch in other people because like there's nothing you can do to snap them out of it. Like, it just kind of has to run its course. You know, you do what you can to like help facilitate that. But like, I'm a human design reader on the internet. I am not like mental illness triage, like hotline. Like, I'm human design hotline. I'm not mental health crises hotline. So if I sense that, like I've literally told people straight up in that have asked me questions in live, hi Tam, like I think that what you are asking of me requires more help than I am capable of giving you. If you still want a human design reading, great. If you wanted me to answer that question and I am not equipped to do that, nor do I want that to be my responsibility, or it's not what I want to use my skills for, I'll refund you right now. Yeah, it is. It is. I don't play into, I've had like watch people in actively in spiritual psychosis, but yeah. T, I'm heading off for the night. I've been on for like 3.5 hours now. So, but I will be back. I'll be on tomorrow afternoon, but I will be on, Wednesday on YouTube live or back here on Thursday. Yeah. My voice is hoarse and I want to make sure that I'm giving from a place of like, being able to read for you appropriately with the energy that you deserve. And I can feel my brain power dwindling. So I don't want to give you I want a whole ass it. I don't want to half ass it. Yeah. You deserve it. Oh, and sorry, I just saw like it was blocked. Do you read people's human design? Yes, I do. But yeah, I'm on every Thursday here, 7:30, every Wednesday on YouTube, 7:30, and then I switch up my Fridays. So just for context. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for saying thank you. And yes, it's like pregnancy readings. If it says you're not gonna go get tested, you're not gonna go get tested. Yeah, crying. Never understood that. Yeah, exactly. That's where I'm like, I just don't. Hi, Tiffany. It's nice to see you. I was thinking about you tonight. I hope you're doing well. And no special occasion. I just had the energy and I stayed on a little bit later. And we just started chatting about business and things like that. So I wanted to be able to hold the container for a little longer. But this whole live, all of my TikTok lives are now recorded and going onto YouTube. So, cause I started on YouTube and those lives are recorded. So that way you guys, when you get readings from me on here, you also can watch them back again and again. Yeah, I can imagine. I hope you're doing well. It's nice to see you guys too. But yeah, so yeah, Mo, again, confidence for all of you. Stop sleeping on yourselves. Know that, we are our own worst enemies when we get into our heads about, wondering who knows more than us. There's always somebody that's bigger, badder, bolder, better. You can always find ways to compare yourself to other people. But, getting bitter and sitting that resentment of not being recognized with, being in your own, that's where you play a role in your own suffering. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's just true. And I've been there, but I was sick and tired of my own shit and know that I deserved to take up space because I knew that I was a good person and I wanted to fight the good fight. So yeah, so maybe that's all you needed tonight, T, just to hear that one little tidbit. So I can gift you with that. And listen, I have gate 63 as my personality sun. That's literally the gate of doubt. I know at the core of my being what it's like to doubt myself and how not worth it is, I wouldn't have been able to help all of you guys. And that being of service to me as a Pisces woman, Pisces Venus, Pisces Saturn, Pisces stellium, like that, this is what is like my purpose, like to make a dent in my corner of the world at being a better person. So do that, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's a candle business, a tarot card business, astrology, do that. Yeah. Yeah, there you go, T. So gate 63 is what I was talking about. And then I'm doing a gate series in depth. Oh yeah, 222, there you go. And end up gate series over on YouTube. So if you guys don't follow me on YouTube, you can subscribe to me over there. That would mean a lot to me for your support in that vessel as well. And then again, I'm posting this over there too, so you guys can see that. So I can feel my energy dwindling. My throat needs a little bit of a break as a certified yapper over here talking for like 3 hours straight. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to do a little co-working session in the afternoon. I don't know when I'm going to be on, but just if you're around and you work from home. Thank you so much, Dana. I appreciate that. I love all of you guys. Please do something to prove yourself that you believe in yourself. I believe in you. If that helps in just my corner of the world in my small way, I'm happy to. So I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow if you're on in the afternoon. If not, I'll see you Wednesday over on YouTube. So see you and have a good night. Happy Friday tomorrow.